There are too many of them that like hammers.
I want to call to order the regular meeting of the Solvang City Council for June 25th, 2018. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Jameson,
Here.
Toussaint,
Here.
Waite,
Here.
Zimmerman,
Present.
Mayor Richardson.
Here. Will you stand with me for the pledge, please? Place your hand over your heart and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we have a council meeting. We're full chamber. It's great. I hope you've got patience for tonight because there's quite a bit of folks here. We're going to do two presentations. Michael Lloyd White, Secretary General of the World Kindness Movement, and a ceremonial signing of the Declaration of Support for the Kinder World. Is he here?
He's not here, but I'm going to.
Okay, we do that, please, Laura. Let me find the.
So I'm Karen Palmer. I'm representing the World Kindness USA movement, and we are signing the Declaration of Kindness tonight, which is a request for Solvang to be a World Kindness City.
And this
Did I
was
have
in
a
your
copy of
packet
that
a
here?
couple meetings ago, so you've seen it already. This is just the signatures.
We're just signing. This is the signing ceremony, so we're going to get, yeah.
Can we read that? Let's read that first.
You want me to read it out loud?
I'll read it.
Oh.
A declaration of support for a kinder world. We, the City Council of the City of Solvang, at our meeting of May 29th, 2018, unanimously declared our support of international collaboration of our nation's governments and its citizens to create kinder and peaceful societies for our children to ultimately inherit. We pledge our ongoing support to the ambitious efforts of World Kindness USA to encourage all humanity from our classrooms to our staff rooms and from our boardrooms to those residing in the corridors of government to seek the kinder option in all matters. Rather than be daunted by the challenges ahead, the unshakable belief to see a kinder world realized in our lifetime will inspire all nations to conduct the spirit of goodwill throughout the finding of the courage to be kind. And this is signed by the council. Would you like to start it on down? Sure. Would you like the rest of us to sign it?
I'm going to bring it
Oh,
over.
okay. There you go.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Photo op.
The photo.
All get together for a photo op with Karen on that.
Just come up behind us. Next on the agenda is a presentation for a medical marijuana dispensary by the Organic Greens owner, Todd Falstrom. Todd?
Hello, Mayor Richardson, council members, and staff. My name is Todd Falstrom, and I'm the CEO of Organic Greens Collective, located in Goleta. Organic Greens specializes in organically grown cannabis and all natural products. We have great relationships with our vendors and carry only high-quality products that have been fully tested for cannabinoid levels, chemical residue, and microbiological content. This ensures that all the products are clean, safe, and effective. Our staff are highly trained and able to answer questions in a relaxed and friendly environment. Our facility is clean, organized, and ran professionally. Customer service is our priority, and we do our best to make customers feel comfortable throughout their visit. We operate with 100% compliance under the state of California law and implement best business practices for everything that we do. We are proud to be known for compliance and have an outstanding reputation for quality control and customer service. We are interested in developing a community involvement and outreach program for the city of Solvang. This allows us to hear customer comments, concerns, and needs so we can better serve the community. We feel that reaching out and developing a relationship with the community helps us in our direction of operations and makes us a better neighbor. There are many studies being done on cannabis that are proving its effectiveness on many diseases, ailments, and conditions. On a recent CNN cannabis documentary by Sanjay Gupta called Weed 4, Pot versus Pills, evidence is presented and shown that cannabis acts as a neuron protector and repairs brain cells. People that were addicted to opiate pills were given cannabis and were able to stop their addiction and repair their brain function. Another example of cannabis and how it helps people is the story of Michael J. Fox. Movement diseases like Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis have seen great success being treated with cannabis. Michael J. Fox suffered terribly for years with Parkinson's and found relief and improvement with cannabis. It helped him get his life back and return to the screen. He now acts on multiple television shows and leads a happy life. Charlotte Fiji is a little girl that suffered from severe epileptic seizures. She was given cannabidiol, or better known as CBD. This cannabinoid is non-psychoactive and significantly reduced the seizures. The cannabis variety that this CBD came from, was named after the girl, called Charlotte's Web, and now is a very familiar product that's available without a prescription. Organic Greens offers a large selection of products and equipment. We provide private consultation and technical support to help customers feel confident about the products they are purchasing. Products supplied include organically grown cannabis varieties, edible cannabis products, external use cannabis products, and cannabis concentrates. We feel that educating our customers about the available products helps them to make informed decisions on how to use them correctly. Cannabis is widely becoming accepted in areas where it was once not tolerated. Baby boomers and seniors are the fastest growing segment of the cannabis industry and are the most likely to try cannabis for the first time. Cannabis is attracting affluent shoppers and is shown to increase tourism in areas where it is permitted. This results in increased foot traffic for surrounding businesses, increases in sales, and increases in property values. Allowing Organic Greens to operate a dispensary in Solvang also has other benefits. Any city that allows a dispensary will be able to collect a portion of the 15% tax revenue collected by the state of California. This tax money is allotted for education and is distributed between the cities that allow for cannabis businesses to operate. In addition, Organic Greens is suggesting a 5% city tax on all products sold by Organic Greens. This additional revenue is helpful in maintaining programs and services needed by the local residents and community. Organic Greens will treat everyone we serve with respect, understanding, and compassion. We are committed to provide excellent service and will offer educational support to the community so they have a better understanding and acceptance of cannabis. We would like to create an advisory board with the City Council and other public officials so the city can ask questions, provide input, and give suggestions. Organic Greens has over 25 years' experience in the cannabis industry and would be honored to open and operate in the city of Solvang. Just getting back to something that I spoke about earlier about CBD, that's the non-psychoactive cannabinoid in cannabis. And it's available now without a prescription. And today, actually, the FDA just came out and approved the first medicine of cannabidiol medicine. And also, my wife operates another store in Santa Barbara called Organic Greens Healing Boutique, where she has organic skin topicals with CBD and other tinctures and other products that are very, very helpful and good for people that are not familiar with cannabis products to come in and try and to use and to see what how cannabis can provide relief from different conditions and ailments. So in closing, I'm hoping that the City Council take a good look at this and see if it's a possibility that we could open a dispensary in Solvang, a medical cannabis dispensary. And so,
Thank you, Todd.
okay, any
Thank you for the
questions
presentation.
about
I have
anything or?
nothing.
No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have questions.
Oh.
So I believe that you said you had some examples of some products, the CBD products that are now
Yeah.
sold legally without having to have a medical marijuana card.
Absolutely.
Could we see those?
Sure, absolutely. One moment. So this is a product about the little girl that I was telling you about that they named Charlotte's Web. And so this is a cannabidiol product right here. Do you want to pass that down? Take a look at it. These products are all skincare products. They're all topicals.
So what do they do for your skin?
So they help with pain relief.
Maybe you should speak up that.
Oh, okay.
Show the microphone and hand it.
Do you want me to just talk here? Okay. These are all examples of topical products that my wife Elaine manufactures.
Talk about each one.
But there's a lot of them, so. Also, the CBD is available in edible products as well, things like candy and toffee and different types of products like that. And also available in tinctures, which is a little dropper that you can just put a little drop in your mouth. And it's just been amazing to hear the response from different people that have used these products and how effective that they are. And all of these products can all be purchased over the counter with no prescription.
And that's referring to the CBD type products and the hemp products, not the actual products that carry THC.
That's correct. So all the CBD is derived from industrial hemp for these products, and that's why they're separated from the cannabis as far as the sale goes.
So one quick question. Just I was looking at these this graph that you had on here,
Uh-huh.
and it's showing the medical dispensary at 23% and the black market at 45%. Is there any data showing that as medical dispensaries come online, the black market share is shrinking?
Oh, well, absolutely. The data does show that as more places open and offer medical marijuana products, that the black market does significantly decrease. So I don't have any data to, show you that currently, but that's something I can provide for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? There you go, Todd. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next is the city manager's report.
A couple things, announcements. One, 4th of July is coming up, which will result in the Solvang Rotary's parade, which will close Mission Drive down, but for everyone's enjoyment, to enjoy the parade and the fireworks that day. So look on the website for those information. And then I wanted to make a comment. We have moved up the date for the decision on the Sunnyfield Spur to June 9th council meeting. So, July 9th council meeting. So at that meeting, we'll be discussing, the consultant will present the alternatives, and we'll be asking the council to give us direction for the grant on which alignment to choose. So Matt had given direction that it would be the second meeting in July, but we have moved that to the July 9th meeting. So I just wanted the public to be aware of that.
Next is public comment. I've got so many public comments here that I've got to separate them. CUB update, Daniel? Followed by John, no, let's see. No, not that one. Okay.
All right. Well, good evening. Tonight, I just want to touch on a few points about things that are going on at the Solvang Conference and Visitors Bureau. We had a very fun night last Wednesday. We had a viewing party for Little Women LA. It was a TV show that was filmed here in Solvang and Buellton. There will actually be a second episode airing this coming Wednesday night, so it's a two-part. And it's also going to be the season finale. So that means we are going to be back at Chomp at 6 o'clock for another viewing party with food and drink available for purchase. We're thrilled about these episodes because we see about 3 million viewers for each episode, seeing them come up here and enjoy Solvang. Also on Wednesday, there's going to be a giveaway done on the television channel KTLA in Los Angeles. That'll be a text-to-win contest. And this is the largest local station in Southern California, so the station will air about a minute-long promotional piece about Solvang to help out with the contest. And we just want to thank the Copenhagen House and the Landsby for helping make this all possible. And then finally, I'm going to keep it real brief. The CVB has been working hard on an all-new event, and we're going to speak about it next council meeting, but I just wanted to whet your appetite for it now. We're hoping to produce the Solvang Stomp. It's a harvest street festival that has a centerpiece of people stomping on grapes to celebrate the local wineries and their harvest. So we look forward to sharing with you all very soon. Thanks.
Thank you, Daniel. I have several. Go ahead. Thank you. I have several speaker slips regarding the Chamber of Commerce. We'll talk about that at the other time. But that's all the speaker slips I have for public comment time. Unless somebody has a public comment they'd like to make. No others? Okay. On. Council comments and requests. Would you like to start, Karen?
Yes, thank you. I would like to get a consensus from the council to call a special meeting specifically to discuss and try to approve getting tax put on our November ballot, where we would be able to tax the revenues from all cannabis products, should we decide to go ahead and invite the dispensaries into outside of our TRC zone at some point. But I think that's a big first step.
Yeah, you would have, I think we've got until, what's the date? July 5th to get it to get on the ballot. So you'd have to have a special meeting. You could do that next Monday. before the planning commission. This time there is a planning commission on Monday, but you could do that at that time, and you would still, if you make a decision at that point as to what the tax language would be, I mean, you may want to 5% or 10% or 8, with some simple like that. You could put that language out at that meeting and get it in time for the ballot.
Got my nod.
That's,
We haven't legalized it yet, and so.
This would be to get a tax ballot on the November ballot measure, so that you would ask the citizens, because you can't tax it without the citizens' majority vote.
But we haven't even, have we decided that we are going to?
It also doesn't approve it, I don't think. So
Okay.
you could have the tax measure in place, and even if you didn't allow it in the city, right?
Well, obviously, if you didn't allow it to be sold, you wouldn't gain any revenue from it.
right. But you'd have the tax
You'd
measure
have it in place for if you did
Right.
make it legal to sell, yes.
And because general tax measures have to be done at the same as a municipal election, regular municipal election, that's why the timing is the way it is. But you're not obligated by putting it on the ballot to legalize the businesses at all. It's just planning ahead. We can't adopt an ordinance like that at the city level without the approval of the voters, and that's why it has to be done so quickly.
So it's 2/3 vote?
For a general tax, no, it's 50% plus one for a
50%
general
plus one.
tax if you're not going to be dedicating it to a specific purpose. If you're dedicating it to a specific purpose, it is a
Okay.
2/3 vote.
so that'll be part of the discussion. Okay, and what day are we looking at?
Well, you can save on your city attorney time by doing it before the planning commission on Monday, because he'll be in town.
So what time is that?
Planning commission meets
Planning
at 6.
At 6? So we,
5 would probably be fine.
it's
right?
going to get, an hour going to be enough time?
4?
4?
Okay.
4 would give you a little cushion.
Yeah, right. So 4 o'clock on next Monday, the 5th. No, the
July 2nd.
2nd.
Okay.
Special meeting, all right. Is there any more, Karen?
Nope, thank you.
Neil? Comments?
Just welcome everybody. Look forward to everybody's comments and a great meeting. Thank you.
Ryan?
Just a couple things. One with we have the part of our budgets is possibly looking at doing a lot of upgrades and revamps to our wastewater treatment plant. So with that being said, we have the standing committee with Joni and I on it, and we haven't met with San CSD in a while. So I was wondering if we could get a meeting on the docket with them.
Yeah, and Lisa, do you recall if it's our turn or their turn to host the wastewater? Okay, so it's our turn, so we'll get a hold of them on some dates and get that scheduled.
Okay. And then the next was we had asked for a CalPERS presentation to the council, but it's been a while since that's happened. So I was wondering if there's any movement on.
Yeah, we've not presented that yet. We've just got a grand jury report that's going to require us to have a presentation, so we could incorporate that into that response to the grand jury.
Okay. And when do we have to have responses?
You have
to
90
them?
days, I believe it was.
90
from it
days
was.
to respond.
So we'll do that report and presentation.
Well,
before
yeah, I think the recommendation was that you hold some sort of meeting. You could say we're going to hold a meeting at a certain time, but you wouldn't have had it before 90 days. But we could try to put something together
Okay.
before that 90
I
days.
just think because we already expressed interest in
Yeah.
having that, so
Yeah.
trying to accelerate that a little
Okay.
bit.
Brad, I just think you need to explain to the audience that we're not the only one.
Oh, right. The grand jury report was on all public agencies within the Santa Barbara County and their pension liabilities situation. Solvang actually was one of the least, had the least
We
liability.
were moderate, right?
Yeah.
Buellton was the least.
Yeah.
Joni?
It does my heart good to see all of you out there. It shows that you have an interest in your community and that you want the best for it. And I appreciate you taking your time and coming. Thank you.
And I have no comments. On with the correspondence received by City Council. We got very nice letters from the Rancho Visitadores thanking us for our cooperation and others that cooperated with the ride and in the week of the Rancho's visit. Rancho, it was a great time. We've got a letter from Sabine Ovison regarding suggested trail paths, bicycle trail paths within the city with pictures. Does anybody want to comment on any of those two letters? Okay, on to the next item. Item 4 is the consent agenda. Does anybody wish to pull any of the items from the calendar? If not, can I have a motion accepting the consent agenda?
So I'll move that we accept items A through G.
Is there a
I
second?
second it.
Did you second that?
Yes.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Do you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Toussaint,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Waite,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mayor Richardson.
Yes, and that passes with a 5-0. On to the regular agenda, item 5.
Item 5, final 2018-19 budget adoption and grant agency funding.
Staff report. Anything? What's wrong?
City Council members, Sandra Featherson, your Director of Administrative Services. Tonight, we're here to talk about the annual budget for fiscal year 1819. We took into account the requests from the last meeting, and so I'm going to just briefly run through my staff report with the presentation, and then answer any questions, and then we can have the agencies come up and discuss. So again, just talking about some of the changes that we made. I did, let's see. Can you see that okay? I did make a few changes to the bottom line because we had some adjustments with the salaries based on the MOU that is proposed and was just adopted through the consent agenda. So you'll see some of the numbers change slightly in terms of the increase or decrease to net position for the general fund, the water, and the wastewater fund. And those funds will each be utilizing the reserves to cover the cost of capital projects and other items that we've identified. Again, here's our general fund and the projected balances, and this is taking a look at fiscal year 15-16, 16-17, 17-18, and then what we're estimating for 18-19. We're projecting about a 1.95% increase in revenues in fiscal year 18-19. Here's a look at our TOT and our sales tax revenues and what we've been projecting. Just a slight increase in TOT for 18-19. And a little bit larger increase in sales tax based on our estimates for 18-19. In terms of our general fund expenditures, talk a little bit about law enforcement, go over salaries and benefits, our IT costs, our capital requests, our agency requests, and the Solvang Conference and Visitors Bureau. As I mentioned at the last meeting, our law enforcement contract is increasing. For 18-19, it's going up about 1%, but then we anticipate about 5% a year for the next 2 to 3 years. And that cost is about 19% of our general fund. In terms of general fund expenditures for salaries and benefits, with the recent adoption of the MOU, excuse me, that amount increased slightly from 32 to 33% of our general fund revenues. And that includes our salaries, taxes, the cafeteria plan, the retirement, and workers' compensation as well. For workers' compensation, we are seeing a decrease for fiscal year 18-19. As I mentioned at the last meeting, we've put a lot of strategies in place to try and reduce these costs over time, and it's based on a 5-year rolling period. And we had some years, about 5 years ago now, that had heavier claims, and so those are kind of falling off the cycle, and so now our premiums are going down. And some of those strategies we've done, we continue to do employee safety training. We have a return to work program, a nurse hotline that we work with the JPIA, and then we continue to collaborate with them and have a relationship with the Buellton Medical Center as well for doing any exams. In terms of our general fund expenditures for IT costs, we break them up into 3 categories: computer support, which covers all of our support costs for the financial system, Laserfish, our email archiving, and general IT support. We have software and website hosting, the antivirus, and we're anticipating a new work order system for Public Works. And then we also have computer equipment, and we do our desktop replacement cycle, which I've talked about. We're replacing monitors and some miscellaneous parts. We did increase this about $2,500 from the preliminary budget due to some recent equipment needs. We felt that we had originally reduced it down from $5,000 to $2,500 for the prelim, but then decided we needed to bump it back up to the same as last year because of the equipment problems we had related to our servers. And then we also are budgeting for a new video camera for council chambers. This is a look at the trend for the expenditures over the last few years. These are the anticipated capital expenditures for the general fund. We have everything from the LSL Road Sidewalk Project, Phase 2, to slurry sealing the parking lots, working on the Solvang Park gazebo, HCA tennis court restrooms. So we're doing about $1.6 million in capital projects next year, just in the general fund. Many of these projects also fulfill requirements for our ADA transition plan, as well as our sidewalk master plan and capital improvement plan. For the agencies, so this changed a little bit from the prelim. So the Chamber of Commerce was moved out of the grant funding agency group and was moved to Program 220, which is economic development. The library was also taken out, which it had been before, and is now budgeted in county contracted services. We also changed the amount on the library slightly based on the latest information that we had. And then the total request that we had from the agencies without the chamber was $277,500. And the amount we were anticipating budgeting was 3% of the prior fiscal year revenue, which turned out to be about $254,500. So that's the amount that you have to work with at this point, and that was adopted, well, not adopted, but identified in the prelim budget. For the Solvang Conference and Visitors Bureau, they're requesting, sorry, do I have their request on there? I think their request was 800, sorry, how much? 820,000, and the recommendation was 736,000 as the base. And then the subcommittee recommendation was 30,000 as this emergency reserve, which I'm sure they'll talk about, but used for kind of one-time and unanticipated needs related to filming and advertising. This is a look at the 10-year funding history for the SCVB. We have some projects that didn't get completed in 17-18 that we're going to carry forward. One is the Centennial Plaza display for $13,500, and some additional upgrades to the gazebo in Solvang Park for $30,000. As of the special council meeting held on the 18th, we'll be updating the budget also to reflect $23,500 for the Sunnyfield Spur Trail project. So that will be in the Capital Projects Fund 300. We originally didn't have any money budgeted in there for projects, but and it kind of happened too late for me to get it really added into any of the documents. But just wanted to make you aware that because of that special meeting, we will be adding that to the final budget adoption in Fund 300. In terms of retirement costs, I can review this again, but for the city, there's really 4 components as they relate to the employees. So just as a reminder, we have your classic employees that have been a part of the CalPERS system prior to January 1, 2013. Then you have what you call your new members that became part of the CalPERS system after January 1, 2013. So the classic members are the ones that were originally part of CalPERS. The cost that for them, there's a normal cost, which is the cost of having the benefit programs for CalPERS. The employees are now contributing 8%, so the net rate to the city right now is 3.419%. And for the Classic members, the city pays the employees 8% share, so for a total of 11.3419%. The Pepper members are those that are the new members. The employer, we pay about 50% of the normal cost, and the employees pay 6.5%. And then there's also the unfunded liability, which you've heard us talk about before. This is a look just for Classic members only that kind of identifies what that cost is going to be. So you can look at 2018-19. Our normal cost rate is 11.419%. Employee contributions are 8%, and so our net is the 3.419. And this is based on a payroll projection from CalPERS that increases about 3% a year. On the Classic members, so that equates to a normal cost of about $73,000. The employer paid 8% shares, $170,000. And then our unfunded liability for the year, that annual payment is $205,626. This is after we get a 5% discount for prepaying in July. And so that total cost is about $450,000 for 18-19. The increase in our rate is primarily due to the revised discount rate. So CalPERS is going from about 7.5% to about 7% over the course of 5 years. And so as that expected return rate decreases, those costs go up for the city to make up the difference. And CalPERS is shortening their amortization period from 30 years to 20 years, which I discussed at the last meeting. As of June 30, 2017, our unfunded CalPERS liability was about $3.3 million, and our other post-employment benefits liability was about 1.9, and that was disclosed in our notes to the financial statements. We do participate in the OPEB trust, and since the prelim, we've revised how much we want to contribute for that in the upcoming year, and that's $70,000. Taking a look at the water fund. We anticipate revenues of about $5 million and expenses of about $7.5 million. We're utilizing $2.1 million in reserves to complete about $2.7 million in projects and one-time purchases. We anticipate an additional $200,000 coming in as revenue from water consumption based on our current trends. And those expenses are increasing due to the Upland Well development, $922,000, Riverwell project, $70,000, and then we continue to bring forward that supplemental Table A water for $820,000. We have pulled that supplemental Table A water out into its own object code, so you will see that as a separate line item in the water budget now, and it's also a separate function, water acquisition allocation, so that's identified now separately. This is just a breakdown of where the water fund revenues come from. You'll see the majority of that comes from the fixed costs from the meter, and then there's also the consumption cost. In terms of expenses, we have our purchased water and the state water payments. Now you have this separate water allocation acquisition amount of $830. Capital projects about 1.4, and supplies, maintenance, and operations at about 1.1. In the wastewater fund, we're looking at about 1.9 million in revenues and 3.5 million in expenditures. So again, we'll be utilizing our reserves to cover that difference and to fund those projects. We plan for about 1.4 million in projects, including 950,000 for environmental processing and engineering work for the treatment plant upgrade project. You can see where their funding is coming from. The wastewater revenue is about 1.4 million. We did increase the expected revenue coming in from the SYCSD, the Community Services District. They contribute 20% to any capital project over $50,000, and so based on the project plan that we have, we increased the amount we're anticipating from them for the next year from 200,000 to about 466,000. Here's a look at the wastewater fund expenses. Again, we've got the capital projects that we're anticipating, and then general supplies, maintenance operations is about $1.1 million. It's a list of the projects that we're doing both in water and wastewater. Again, a very aggressive capital project plan, $4.2 million in projects for the next year. In summary, Oops. We'll be looking ahead and trying to plan for the increases in the law enforcement contract. We'll be watching for any changes that CalPERS makes to either its amortization rate or its discount rate. We'll be, again, looking at options to reduce that CalPERS pension liability. There are a couple payments we're going to make to pay off the PEPRA unfunded liability right now, whilst though that's in the budget, as well as making our annual safety payment. And then we'll be looking at the reserves for water and wastewater and whether or not, rates, looking at those rates to see how we're going to make those projects going forward for the treatment plant. So that kind of sums up my presentation. And now, if you want to ask me questions on that, or you can move right to the agency requests, however you want to do that.
Would you like to go over the agency request now then?
Sure, unless there's other questions on the budget. If you
I have
wanna
a few
resolve those.
questions just on the budget.
Neil, turn the lights on, please.
So one was, is there any status of the suspended Table A water purchase? 'Cause it seems like it's been there for a long time.
It has
and-
been, I know. I think Brad could better answer that question since Matt's not available.
Yeah, I don't think the county and CCWA have finalized that deal yet, so we're
Okay.
still just waiting.
Is that still something we should do even with well 22 coming online?
We're on board to it now. We signed on.
Okay,
to
okay, so it's
purchase
not
it.
like
Yeah.
you can go, okay.
Yeah.
And then the next was trying to compare our last packet for the sheriff's contract compared to what was in the budget. And maybe it's partly because the library has now been moved in with the, but is it, I just want to know what was the number for last year, the actual, and then what is this year's actual?
Are we talking about for then the sheriff's
For the
contract?
yeah. Because I just saw a discrepancy in the last packet to this one. I just want to wrap my head around it.
Okay, so for the law enforcement contract between the prelim and the final, we did not make any changes. So that amount is 1.7 million. However, and that includes now the community resource deputy. Whereas last year in the 2017-18 budget, the amount was 1,708,565 plus and there was a separate line item for the community resource deputy of 40,000. So that was 17-18. And then this year, it's only going up slightly, about 1%, because they've rolled in that community resources deputy into that one line item now for the law enforcement contract.
Okay.
Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, it was just in the last packet, it showed a 7% increase on page 55. It says for
Yeah, it's a 7. So you in the current year you've budgeted 1.7, but they've billed us about 6% less than that. So your actual cost in the current fiscal year will be about 6% less than what you budgeted.
okay.
So that's where the 7% came in. It was tied to what we've actually being paid this year. So
Okay. But then we expect it to be increasing by a minimum of 5%
yes.
year over year.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's see. Oh, for the stormwater management program, is that included in this? Are we approving that in this budget? Or is there?
You are. That is a separate program that's identified. It's under the Public Works Department. It's a separate program
Okay.
with its own budget. I can tell you how much.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
And then I was just wondering if it. I think I saw it on the advanced calendar for that's coming up.
Yeah, one of your goals, the next goal that we will be reviewing will be funding for the stormwater management program.
Okay.
So what's budgeted in there is the consultant completing the stormwater management plan.
Got it. Okay, just completing the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're not. I think I saw like some of the preliminary plan, and there's different options in there. So we'll go over all those options.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll bring back, if you recall, when we did our rate study for water and sewer, we had Bartle Wells also do a tech memo on funding options for that. So we'll bring back that memo. I think that's what spurred the
Okay.
discussion of how we would.
And then
fund
we'll
storm-
decide how we want to really pursue forward with.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
Right
what
now,
you're-
we're just approving more of a study. Of
Yeah,
it.
well, this is to complete your stormwater management plan. And so
Got
that's
it.
going to tell you all the things you need to do.
Got it. Okay.
Did you want any other additional information on the budget for that?
No.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, that, go on with the agency request.
Do you want me to go through each agency and the recommendations and the requests, or I can put that up on the screen? Okay.
Yeah, so if you recall, the policy that you adopted on agency funding is that they would need to present at the time of the budget hearing. And so that's what you've got scheduled for tonight, for each of those agencies that requested funds to come up and present some. That's your prerogative. I mean, the requirement is that they show and at least ask. You know, that was in the procedures that you adopted.
Okay. So I'll run through the amount they requested and the recommendation by the subcommittee. So we had Atterdac at Home requested $5,000. 0 was the recommendation. The Danish Days Foundation requested $30,000, and the recommendation was $25,000. Elverhoy Museum of History and Art was a request of $30,000, recommendation of $28,000. Nature Track Foundation requested $3,500, recommendation of 0. PCPA Pacific Conservatory Theater requested $10,000, and the recommendation was $2,500. Let's see if I can scroll down here a little bit. The Rotary Club of the San Ynez Valley requested $25,000. The recommendation was $10,000. San Ynez Senior Advisory Council, the Solvang Senior Center, they requested $55,000. The recommendation was $45,000. San Ynez Valley Botanic Garden requested $1,500. Recommendation 0. San Ynez Valley Boys Baseball League requested $4,000. Recommendation 0. San Ynez Valley Historical Museum requested $5,000, recommendation 0. San Ynez Valley Master Corral was $3,500, recommendation of 0. San Ynez Valley Fruit and Vegetable Rescue requested $7,500, the recommendation was $6,500. San Ynez Valley People Helping People requested $22,000, and the recommendation was $17,000. The San Ynez Valley Senior Citizens Foundation requested $10,000, recommendation 0. San Ynez Valley Therapeutic Writing Program requested $7,500. Recommendation was 0. The Solvang School Education Foundation requested $6,000, recommendation was 5. Solvang Theater Fest recommendation was $35,000, and the recommendation was 30. United Way of Santa Barbara County requested 6. The recommendation was 0. Valley Wind Ensemble requested $1,000. Recommendation was $500. The Wilding Museum requested $5,000. Recommendation was 0. Zaka Center Preschool requested $5,000, and the recommendation was 0.
To clarify, we were bound by a lot of restrictions. The prime restriction was 3% of last year's general fund budget, and also the other restriction was that the nonprofits had to directly be responsible to citizens of Solvang. That's why several of these requests were not granted, because they were outside the city limits, and some of these requests were reduced because of the limited amount of funds we had available. With that, we'll go down the list of the requestors that want to say a few words, or I can go through the stack. Let's go down the list of the requestors, I think.
May I ask a question?
I'm sorry?
So, may I ask a question?
Sure.
What is the amount that we are working with? What is the amount of funds that we have to work with?
I saw 200 and some thousand.
254,
Yeah, and we're only at
500?
and we're at 169 on this.
169.
So we have 254,000 to work with.
Correct.
Okay,
And
thank you.
I'll just point out that the reason why it is there that way is because the 3% did include the chamber, and then because the council's considering pulling it out, their space holder in here was 85,000. So it's now going to be a separate discussion
Right.
So whether you want to keep, you know what I mean? It's not like it makes more money or free money. It's just moving the allocations around, so it's no
Okay.
longer in that pool.
Okay,
Yeah, the number that Sandra presented as use of reserves is, if you increase the grant funding, that's going to go up. If you don't really have the 85 to play with, that's just going to go up, increase your use of reserves.
Right.
That's right.
The way it's laid out right now would include the 85 already. Not, you know what I mean? Like if you take it out of this pool and put it somewhere else, it doesn't create more money.
no, I understand that, but she does create more money.
Okay, with that, we'll go on to the first, the Danish Days Foundation made the first request.
Actually,
Well, Atterdag Home, well, they made a request, but it was a zero amount.
well, it's still
Still get to
eligible.
talk.
Pardon me?
They would still be eligible for funding from the full
Oh,
council.
that's true. Okay, I'll go after them then.
Mayor,
It's good to see you, Chris. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, council people. I'm Brenda Anderson, and our co-chair, Max Hanberg. We represent the Solvang Danish Days Foundation and are this year's co-chairs. And we want to first thank you humbly for continuing to sponsor the Solvang Danish Days Foundation. It's vital that we get your funds. And we're real appreciative, given the nature of the need from all those others requesting funds as well. But we really humbly do appreciate that. And also want to invite you to Danish Days, which is September 14th, 15th, and the 16th.
We also have a couple of new exciting things coming up at Danish Days this year. Spending a little more on advertising, and we've got a special, someone's coming eat a lot of able skeevers, so it might be worthy to come out and see this. We've got a special thing going on. So again, we humbly thank you for anything you let us have. Thanks.
Thank you both. Atterdag Home.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. I recognize we didn't receive the amount yet, but we're hoping to get something. We appreciate anything we get. I just want to make sure you know this is Karen Brown, our Atterdag at Home director. I'm Chris Parker, the executive director up at Atterdag Village. And I wanted to make sure you guys knew that for 48 years, Atterdag Village has been supporting the Meals on Wheels program. 2 years ago, to avoid it being closed, the Meals on Wheels program, we took the program on and started Atterdag at Home. So for the past 2 years we've been running that, we recognized that it was a huge need in the community to support the seniors in the valley for more than Meals on Wheels. So Karen has structured and set up a program where we go out and help out those seniors that are struggling at home. They need help with transportation. They need help with housekeeping, minor technology things, anything they need in their homes, what they can't get, and they know they can't afford to move out of those homes. One of the things that I know that you mentioned was this involves Solvang. We do the Valley. 70% of what we do is Solvang. So we have 90 individuals that receive Meals on Wheels through our Atterdag at Home program. Of those 90, 70 live in the city of Solvang. So it's huge. So we've expanded the services. We continue to grow the services. We're running at about a $70,000 deficit. We obviously receive support from Atterdag Village. We receive support from local foundations, and we just would love any support from the city we can get. So we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you so much. Can I just give?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Elverhoy Museum.
Thank you, Mayor Richardson, Solvang City Council members, City of Solvang staff. My name is Art Kaslow. I'm the president of the board of the Elverhoy Museum, and I'm attended here with my executive director, Esther Jacobson Bates, and probably a quorum of my board. We're here requesting $30,000. For 30 years, the Elverhoy has provided educational, social, and cultural opportunities, all which promote the history and the arts in addition to the exploration of the Danish heritage so richly woven into the fabric of Solvang. The residents of Solvang directly are beneficiaries of all service of this museum, educational and enriching programs, and activities the museum provides. The city funding directly impacts the museum's ability to plan for a future where more than 75 volunteers donate time and create experiences that deeply engage and inspire the more than 20,000 visitors annually through the doors of the Elverum Museum at no charge. Our goals are to take your TOT revenues to continue to serve as a cultural component in the city, and every dollar that you graciously do give to us are impeccably under stewardship and spent wisely in this community. Do you have any questions for me?
How many visitors per year?
At least 20,000 annually.
Annually. Okay.
Annually. And many of them are repeat, and many of them are referring new visitors to this community.
Thank you.
20,000.
Any other
questions?
Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
The Nature Track Foundation.
Thank you. My name is Sue Isager. I'm the founder and executive director of Nature Track. This is Laura McVicker. She's a second grade teacher at Solvang School. I am here hoping that I can convince you to allocate some funds to Nature Track. We do provide services to Solvang students as well as to the entire Santa Barbara County. But I can assure you that any funding that we would receive from the city would be allocated and restricted only for Solvang students so that they can enjoy the outdoors. We provide, from the proposal I provided, provide outdoor field trips utilizing local trails and beaches throughout the county. There is no cost to the school. We even pay their transportation. They are aligned with the in-classroom curriculum so that the students are actually outside learning, where learning literally comes alive. And in this time when so many students are connected to the electronic world 10 to 12 hours a day, we really need to connect them to nature for the sake of our natural world, but also for their health as well. I invited Laura here to speak on behalf of the program because she has been a teacher who has reserved field trips with us for the past several years. Any amount that you would contribute to us would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. And I want to offer an apology. I was outside enjoying the natural world. I'm a teacher on vacation, and everyone looks so nice out there today. So I apologize for that. I just heard that when Sue let me know about tonight, and I wanted to race in here and let you know what an important program this is. Again, my name is Laura McVicker. I teach second grade at Solvang School, and I'm here to represent all of the Solvang School staff. The Nature Track field trip is something that we count on every year. It's something we talk about in our first meetings in the fall, and well, summer now. It's something that we, every year, I can't imagine not having it. Our children count on it. For many of our Solvang students, this is their first nature experience when we go out there. And for it to be a quality experience that's well prepared, this is the easiest field trip every year for a teacher because Sue does such an exceptional job preparing docents, local people that love our earth. They come in and just knock our socks off with these field trips. They even provide snacks for us. It's really great. The information that the children bring back to Solvang School is gold, and then they share it with their little brothers and sisters. They share it with their parents, and they encourage them to go out into the world. So I am very grateful for Nature Track, and if you could please, I encourage you to reconsider, and any amount to keep this program going for Solvang School students would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have
We are right now an organization of all volunteers 100%. I volunteer 100% of my time.
I have a question. How many students from Solvang School come? You're a second grade teacher. What
Yes.
other grades come?
Third grade has come out with us, seventh grade, sixth grade, It's varied over the years, the past years, but well
Okay.
over 1,000 students since I founded Nature Track in 2011 from Solvang School have been out on a field trip with us.
Okay.
To date, Nature Track has provided over 16,000 students throughout the county with an outdoor experience. And again, we don't charge, and we even cover their transportation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. PCPA.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer Schwartz. I'm the Managing Director of PCPA. Last summer, we had a very successful season here down in Solvang. We were just shy of 30,000 attendees, with about 20% of sales from Southern California and approximately 30% from counties outside of Santa Barbara. We had Beauty and the Beast, Lemmy Tenor, Newsies, and Twelfth Night, and they were well received by critics and the community alike. The generous $2,500 we received from the City of Solvang we used for a digital marketing campaign. We had over 500,000 impressions from these web ads, which helped us to meet our ticketing goals. This summer, currently at the Festival Theater, we have The Hunchback of Notre Dame, followed by the Tony Award-winning comedy Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike. In August, we have the most popular show in the world, Mamma Mia, and we close our summer season on Solvang with Tom Stoppard's beautiful masterpiece, Arcadia. Our request for this summer is to assist PCPA with another digital marketing campaign. We use a national arts marketing service called Mogo Arts, and in conjunction with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our own PCPA app, it helps us to increase sales not only on the Central Coast, but also in Los Angeles County, where we have a lot of people coming in to see shows here in Solvang. We believe that we have a very special partnership with the City of Solvang that is a win-win relationship, that the more ticket sales that we sell for our shows, that means more dollars are spent in Solvang for food, shopping, hotels, etc. Last year, almost 3,000 Solvang residents attended our shows, which is 55% of the population of Solvang, and that's a direct impact to the residents of Solvang. Another direct impact is, according to the 2017 America for the Arts study, attendees in Santa Barbara County nonprofit arts events spent an average of $28.25 per person per event beyond the price of admission. If the attendee lived outside of Santa Barbara County, then the average is $51.88. Using this information, we calculated that PCPA Productions last summer generated almost $900,000 to the City of Solvang through meals, parking, hotels, etc., directly benefiting the residents and businesses of the city. PCPA does have a relationship with Allen Hancock College, but we only receive 35 to 40% of our funding from the college. PCPA has to fundraise and make up the remaining of our $4 million budget through ticket sales and the kindness of people like the City of Solvang. We're very grateful for the City of Solvang for the $2,500 of funds that we received last year and that you have proposed for the summer of 2018, and we are honored for the grant and look forward to another successful summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rotary Club of San Ynez Valley.
Mayor Richardson, council members and staff, thank you for your service, and thank you for your continued support of the San Ynez Valley Rotary Club for the 4th of July celebration. My name is Jeff Little. I was president last year of the Rotary Club, and I've been treasurer for the past 9 years. This year will be the 24th year we've held the fireworks show in Solvang. In reviewing the city's budget, it's apparent that tourism is a vital part of the city of Solvang. Solvang receives a large portion of revenue from the TOT and sales tax. Annually, Solvang invests a lot of money to attract tourists. The Rotary Club shares your interest in attracting tourists. Like the city, without tourists, our event would not be as profitable. Last year was the first year that we surveyed the spectators that came through our gates. We had paid attendance of 3,900, plus we had 700 active duty military and their immediate families. We surveyed 38% of those attendees, or about 1,751 people. 28% were from the San Ynez Valley. 72%, or 3,300, were from outside the San Ynez Valley. Last year's numbers were lower than prior 4th of Julys because the 4th fell on a Tuesday last year. In 2014 and 15, a Friday and a Saturday, our attendance was 6,300 and 6,000. We would imagine that we had a higher number of out-of-town attendees. The following are common comments from the visiting attendees. They've been coming to the event for many years. They like the small town feel of the event. They feel safe at the event. This is a planned annual family event. They like the venue at the Mission. They enjoy visiting Solvang. And they know that they will see a quality fireworks show. We believe this year will be our best year. The club, no one is paid. We start working on the 4th of July in August. And so it's pretty much around the year opportunity. We thank you again for your support, and we are appreciative. I know we requested 25. There are a lot of great organizations here. We're happy with 10. Thank you. If you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So basically, I know that you all have other significant fundraisers during the year. The 10,000, would that be very helpful in picking up the slack for the let's say the fireworks presentation? I mean, that's kind of where you're going with that?
Yeah, the fireworks themselves cost $25,000.
Okay.
So it's about $1,000 a minute, just for the fireworks. So then we're renting out the Mission. We have additional costs for setup and infrastructure charges. And we also have a number of organizations that are here that benefit from doing their own little fundraiser within our fundraiser, selling food and so on and so forth.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I just want to know because I know it's a very expensive event and I wasn't quite sure how much it cost.
Yeah, it's kind of deceiving because we have an awful lot of volunteer time, and a lot of the donations that are put forth come from the club itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Senior Center.
Good evening, Mayor Richardson and City Council members. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to come before you, and thank you for your past support. This year we've asked for a little more, and we'd like to convince you that we need that little more. We have basically a quorum of our board with us, and our board president, Alice. So, you know about the Solvang Senior Center. We've been part of your community for over 43 years, and in our present location for 35 years. As an activity center, we primarily focus on providing for our Valley seniors nutritional, activity, and social needs. We offer a safe space to engage folks in over 20 activities a week, which help keep their minds, bodies healthy, as well as uplifting their spirits. A safe space to try something new, to keep one healthy and vital. A space to encourage others to share their skills and talents. The process of aging brings with it additional changes in lifestyle and relationships, and the center provides a place for folks to progress through these life changes in a comfortable and safe atmosphere. They have unlimited fellowship and friendship for those who've lost partners, life partners, or friends, and a place to make new friends and to lean on each other for emotional support. In addition, the center also provides the community itself and Valley residents with services such as free AARP tax preparation, which is done totally by volunteers. We served over 300 individuals this year. AARP Safe Driving Course, Rite Aid Health Clinics, Medicare seminars, and our newest and one of our proudest new partnerships is with Care for Paws, a mobile health clinic for pets. And as you know, seniors and their pets, it's a great bond. We serve one of the fastest growing populations in the county. Compared to Santa Barbara County, our community adults are on an average 10 years older. More than 1/3 of the residents of Solvang are 55+ years of age. Residents in Solvang live 4 to 5 years longer than the national average. So it's good Danish genes. The center averages 10 new members monthly, so we have approximately 460 members, with a majority of those living in Solvang. We've been highly impacted by our two new low-income senior housing facilities, especially the Solvang Senior Apartments on Maple Street next to us. Not only do they take advantage of what we have to offer them, but they also take advantage of the need for many social services, and we provide them with places to go, such as people helping people. We serve over 400 meals annually, and we provide 800 activities annually. The above statistics and statements support the value of the center to this community. It offers a plethora of social services, which are generally part of many cities' parks and recreation departments. We rely heavily on grants as a nonprofit, donations, and fundraisers to provide us with the means to keep our doors open and provide necessary services. We run a well-regulated, frugal operation, with me being the almost one full-time employee and 2 other part-time employees, and the rest are on over 2 dozen volunteers who give of their time freely. Unfortunately, due to natural disasters that hit our South County neighbors, we have been informed by some of our loyal longtime funders that we will not be able to receive their funds this year. They have elected to concentrate on the needs of nonprofits and residents in Santa Barbara area. Although we can appreciate and understand this train of thought, we also realize how this will impact the center's budget and our ability to keep growing and meeting our members' needs. Therefore, we ask the City Council to take into consideration all that the Solvang Senior Center has done for the city's residents historically, all that it continues to do, and all that it needs to do in the future to provide community service seniors with the comforts in life that they deserve. We feel that we have offered you a strong case in support of fully funding our $55,000 request. Thank you very much for your time, and letting me go over my limit.
Are there any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. The San Ynez Valley Botanic Garden. Not here? Okay. The San Ynez Valley Boys Baseball League.
Hold your applause till the end. Hi, my name is Bridget Elliott. These are some of our players this season for the Pony Baseball. We applied for a $4,000 grant for a pitching machine and benches. And we did not receive any money, but when I looked down the list, with the exception of the Botanical Garden, it looks like no people who submitted for the first time in 18-19, none of those applicants received any funding. So I'd like you to reconsider that, because over 100 kids from Solvang go to Pony Baseball. And the only reason it's in San Ynez is because, well, we don't have a field here. So, and that is it. Do you guys have any questions? I mean, there's a lot of potential tax revenue for the city of Solvang here.
I mean, just, pay it forward a little bit. Right, Luke? Yeah.
Are there any questions? No. Thank you,
No?
Bridget. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Right, can you guys wave to everybody? Yes.
Hey, I'm glad to meet you both. Glad.
Okay, thanks.
San Ynez Valley Historical Museum.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, and staff. We're very pleased to be here this evening. I am Brian Stenfors, the Executive Director of the Historical Museum. I'm joined by Joe Ola, who's President of the Board, and on behalf of the Board, they have asked us to also extend our thanks for listening to our request. I'll let Joe establish the context for the request.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Mayor and Council and staff. We've never been before you before to ask for any assistance, and we're here now. Despite the fact that the museum is in San Ynez, it promotes the very beginnings of the San Ynez Valley, which includes Solvang. In fact, the tradition that we celebrate in our upcoming event, the Vaquero event, which we're seeking some assistance with your grant, was established in the mission at Solvang, the San Ynez mission. And the history of the valley is recorded not only in the San Ynez Township, but in Solvang. The beginnings all revolved around the Central Coast lifestyle of the Vaquero ranching tradition. And we've had the Rancheros Visitadores who come annually and celebrate that tradition. We're asking for a $5,000 grant to help us promote the Vaquero Show, which is our biggest fundraiser, to help us display the art, craft, and history of the Vaquero tradition and its importance to the valley, to the connection of the past to the present, to educate our citizens and our kids. We've started educational programs that have been utilized by the Solvang schools. We've been promoting that valley-wide. As a matter of fact, we've got groups even coming up from Santa Barbara and Santa Maria and Lompoc. We've hosted the Senior Center, Solvang Senior Center, and we're open year-round. It's not a one-day event. The Vaquero Show is our major fundraiser, which helps fund the operating expenses. We maintain carriages, saddles, collections, the living history of the valley. And we'd like to have your support. And the request is not large, but the advertising potential of your participation will not only help the museum promote the show, but it will satisfy your need to give your tourists an engaging event to enjoy and continue to plan to come to see in the future. We have roping demonstrations and cowboy music and poetry and so on. I'd like to pass the mic to Brian to summarize, but we really do need your help, and it's, as I said, a small request, but it's a big project, and it does a lot of good for the community at large and involves Solvang to a great extent. So I hope you'll help us perpetuate the history which began right here in your town. So, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Is there any comments?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
San Ynez Valley Master Chorale.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff. My name is Shannon Casey, and I'm here on behalf of the San Ynez Valley Master Chorale. For the past several years, we have always had our concert series at the Vets Hall in Solvang, and we've utilized the banner program to advertise those concerts. Believe it or not, it's our 40th anniversary as a performing arts organization. Many of you see our volunteer singers at the hardware store, or many are local residents, and we've served the community, obviously, for a number of years. This year, we want to do some a more of a spectacular event. We hope to include high school students, members from all of the community volunteer musical organizations. We coincidentally are going to be performing the weekend of Yule Fest, the first weekend, and we've talked with the CVB and also coordinating with the Chamber to cross-promote the event. And our spring concerts will be held in the Mother's Day weekend in May. And so we're requesting money to help fund additional advertising and recruitment for the event. And we hope to also use our advertising to promote Yule Fest and events in Solvang, as well as make sure that a lot of older members can join us for this anniversary concert. So we also perform for free on the 4th of July as part of the 4th of July celebration. We provide a free concert at the Vets Hall, and we do pay our musicians, our professional orchestra. And we've had the concert since about 2015, and we've only requested $1,000. We've only received $1,000 from the city in previous years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any
Do you have any questions? We're pretty much the only classical performing arts organization in the valley. If you want this kind of music, you usually have to drive to Santa Barbara, and that means you have to drive all the way back from Santa Barbara. Thank you.
Thanks very much. San Ynez Valley Fruit and Vegetable Rescue. Veggie Rescue.
Good evening, Mayor and council members and staff, city staff. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to present this evening. And even more, thank you very much for your past support. It's been essential to Veggie Rescue's efforts to nourish our community. As you may or may not know, we collect excess produce from farms and farmers markets and deliver it to organizations that feed people. Here in Solvang, we collect from the Wednesday Farmers Market. We also collect from several farmers located here in the San Ynez Valley. In Solvang, we deliver to the Solvang Senior Center, Solvang School, the high school, the Fun in the Sun summertime program held at the San Ynez school, but serving members of the Solvang community, and we also deliver to People Helping People. In 2017, we delivered over 8 tons of food just to those Solvang sites, and that is converted into a food budget savings for those programs of $28,388. I just want to do a little shout out to Nature Track. We partner with them to provide farm track tours, and in fact, Ms. McVicker, who was here speaking, the second grade teacher, we collaborated to take her students to a farm last month. They had a wonderful time. It was a grand experience. Those kids were picking carrots, picking lettuce, picking peas. It was really wonderful, and then they ate salad from what they picked. So just a little shout out to Nature Track. And I thank you for your consideration, and good luck with your challenging task ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions? No. Thank you. San Ynez Valley Senior Citizens Foundation. Oh, I missed one. Oh, did I skip over?
Do you want me to go back and
Oh.
wait?
Oh, people helping people, yeah.
Do you want people helping people
Well, go, come on, Pam.
Come up?
Yeah, come on up.
You're not going to give my money?
Since
People
you're here.
helping people.
No, since you're here.
Okay.
Yeah, I misread. Go ahead.
Mayor Richardson and the council, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. And my name is Pam Nico. I'm the director from the Buellton Senior Center. And we're one of those organizations that are outside of the group. So you're probably wondering why I'm here, because you have an amazing senior center here and a great director. So why am I here? Well, what we have started with the Vikings were kind enough to buy us a medical van so that we could transport the citizens from Solvang, San Ynez, and Buellton to doctor's appointments. And the van is amazing, but we have to have some funding for the staff to drive. The program, when we started it, I had no idea how great the need was. We started actively doing the program in April. So in April, May, and June, we've done approximately 60 rides. Out of that, 23 were from Solvang and 37 were from Buellton, so about 62% out of Buellton and 38% out of Solvang. This medical van is going to Santa Barbara, Lompoc, Solvang, Santa Maria, the Vets Clinic in Santa Maria. We go to the dialysis center in Lompoc, the wound center, Ridley Tree Cancer Center for various, whether it's infusions or radiation in Santa Barbara, as well as the Sansom Cancer Clinic right here. We go to the Merriam Cancer Center, Cottage Hospital. I had no idea that we were going to be this busy. We've basically had to take Linda Linton as our coordinator for this program, and she is basically turned into a medical van driver. Because we're scheduling all during the time. Typically, the appointments start for testing in the morning at Cottage Hospital at 7:30, and then if we're going to Santa Barbara, we're there all day. So that's why we're really requesting more funding, because we are servicing so much of Solvang as well as Buellton, and it's a great program. It's really needed. If anyone has ever been and had a procedure done, we have a great dial-a-ride, but it's not for medical procedures. So if you're going to dialysis or you've just had an oncology or an infusion, you don't want to get on a bus. You want to be with somebody who can help you stop if you need to. Linda is amazing with taking the veterans and helping them fill out the forms and navigate over in Santa Maria at the Veterans Clinic. So we would really appreciate your help and your consideration. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions? Thank you, Pam.
Okay, thanks.
People helping people.
In the hallway.
Oh, it's in the hallway?
You're on, Dean.
Oh.
Am I using any of my 3 minutes? I'll try to run.
Here's Dean right now.
We ready?
Hello, Dean. Congratulations on Saturday, by the way.
Thank you very much. Saturday was our 7th annual Polo Classic. Very successful. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Haven't been here too often. This is my 23rd time. People Helping People is celebrating now 26 years. And thank you for the opportunity to apply for a grant this year, and thank you for all the funding that you've given us over the years. I know that this council recognizes that San Ynez Valley People Helping People is a great resource to this community. I appreciate the allocation for this year. I'll keep this very brief, but I would ask that you consider reinstating the $5,000 that you gave us last year. I don't have to repeat what the Solvang Senior Center gave you as statistics. Thank you very much. Perfect. Fastest growing senior population in the county of Santa Barbara, right here in the San Ynez Valley.
Right.
We had an 11% increase in the clients we served here in Solvang last year, predominantly seniors. We average now about one senior, almost invariably women, who are homeless that we have to work with. Some of that the need for senior services does come from although I would want it anyway, the senior housing that is now in Solvang, And of course, we've been impacted by the senior housing that's in San Ynez across from the high school. So I would ask you to consider the food that we need, the rental assistance that we need to help seniors that are on I don't think people realize how low the fixed incomes are. People wonder why people at Golden Inn are paying less than $300 a month. It's based on 1/3 of their income. That's the max that they can be charged. So you're looking at people at $880 to $1,200 a month. That's their total income to pay for rent, food, utilities, incidentals, etc. So we would ask that you reinstate the $5,000 so that we could work more closely to provide basic needs for seniors. Thank you for consideration.
Are there any questions?
Oh, questions, sorry.
That's it. Thank you,
Thank you.
Dean. San Ynez Valley Therapeutic Riding Program.
Hello, my name is Robin Sarasev and I live in Solvang. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm asking for a grant for the San Ynez Valley Therapeutic Riding Program, specifically for our weekly Solvang School Special Education class program. We serve 70 people a week and over 300 people a year. We serve children and adults with special needs, at-risk youth, and veterans. This request is for the Solvang School Special Education class. This class has been coming for the past 8 years as funding allows. We are more than horseback riding. We use the movement and motivation of the horse to help our students succeed in daily life goals. To give you an idea of the impact we have, one little girl that's hearing impaired and seldomly spoke speaks more in the hour with us a week than she does all week long in school. And this is from her teacher that comes with her. One little boy with autism spoke his first word on one of our horses. He was 5 years old. He is still with us, and he's 15 now. Our students have enjoyed increased speech, increased mobility, decreased drooling, being able to sit and stand unassisted for longer periods of time, sleeping through the night for the first time, and many have made their first friend, which is a pretty big deal for the population that we serve. We call it therapy disguised as fun. We are one of 2 organizations in the Valley for people with special needs. We offer camps to all local kids through a partnership with Solvang Parks and Rec, and our camp's going on this week. We also this summer are having a camp for foster youth and a camp for abused children. The abused children camp is a mental health program. We are helped by over 70 local volunteers that donate over 11,000 hours a year to help local people with special needs live their life to the fullest. I hope that you'll find it in your heart to help Solvang children with special needs, and I hope that you'll cheer us on at the next parade. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, I do. I have a question. So, where does the majority of your funding come from?
About 50% of our funding is from foundation grants, and then we have a big annual fundraiser. We did an extra fundraiser this year. We have some individual donations, and about 10 to 15% of our budget is from fees for services. 70% of our students are low to moderate income and are on scholarship, and we get copies of their tax returns to verify that.
Okay, I'm asking because you said that you were doing this for a particular class with the Solvang School, so I was wondering if the county is at all involved in your program.
They're not. They were one time, and then their funding has dried up. The last time that I required, the Solvang School program I do for free. The last time I required Solvang School to pay for the program or even pay a tiny portion, whatever they could, they couldn't. And we stopped the program for about 6 months until I could find some other funding for this. Generally, the parents that we're serving and the families are low income, and the parents are generally really taxed. They are kind of fully engaged with their child morning, noon, and night, many work, and we can't really ask them for too much fundraising. It just is kind of beyond their abilities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Solvang Chamber of Commerce will pass them because they'll be talked as a separate item. Solvang Library, the same. Solvang School Education Foundation.
Good evening, folks. My name is Dennis Keever, and I'm here to represent the Solvang School Education Foundation, doing business currently as SAM, Solvang Arts and Music. Since 1993, the foundation has been working to support arts and music education at Solvang School. And that came about primarily because state funding had been cut, and the current administration at the time decided to eliminate those programs from the curriculum. Solvang School Education Foundation came together to make sure that that wouldn't happen any longer. Art and music is so important to the life of a child. Solvang Elementary School is K through 8th grade. I'm sure you've all been subject to some type of fundraising from a child or a parent of a child or a grandparent of a child. And we have so many hardworking volunteers with the PTO and the Education Foundation that continue to do that. We do regularly appeal to the families that are currently at school. But we found approximately 10 years ago that 56% of the children attending, the families were applying for free or reduced lunch programs. So at that point, we really realized that we needed to shift our fundraising and appeal in a broader sense to the community for grants, major gifts, and fundraising. I thank you for your continued support and appreciate your consideration of our grant for this year. Thank you.
Any questions? Yes, thank you very much. Solvang Theater Fest.
So, and Dave, just a quick legal question. I'm going to recuse myself from Solvang Theater Fest. Am I okay to be here during the presentation, but just can't vote, or?
Technically, you're supposed to step down during the consideration of a particular thing in which you may have a conflict. You're supposed to leave the room during that.
Okay.
But because this is an entire presentation, if you're just going to be listening at this point and then recusing from the decision, you should step down when there's a discussion of the decision itself.
So I'm fine here for now. Okay.
Hello, Chris.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Chris Nielsen, and it's my privilege to represent the Solvang Theater Fest. I'm the current president of the board of directors, many of whom are with us here tonight in the audience, including our executive director, Mary Ann Norbaum. What is Solvang? 3 simple words. What is Solvang? I've been asking myself that question my entire life, and I don't think twice I've come up with the exact same answer. But if there's ever a theme, I think it lies in 3 things. Solvang is a very unique, culturally and historically oriented town. It's a place with a wonderful community and a glorious sampling of which sits behind me tonight. And it's also a place that people want to come and visit because of its uniqueness, because of its charm. 44 years ago, we were very fortunate that a few key leaders, people like Earl Peterson and Royce Llewellyn and Bob Raleigh and Erling Poles and Johannes Jaeger, they realized the potential of creating a venue for the wonderfully talented group of PCPA out of Allen Hancock College, of creating a venue here in our town, in Solvang, for PCPA to come and perform during the summers. 44 years in a row, nonstop, PCPA has performed. People have come from our community, from our region, throughout the state, throughout the nation, and in fact internationally have come to see PCPA. And it was so wonderful how Jennifer just earlier had opportunity to really give you some key numbers of economic impact to our city due to PCPA's performance during the summer. But you know, there's also those times other than June through September when PCPA is the dedicated performance for the Solvang Festival Theater, which operates as a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. The operation and maintenance of the Theater Fest still has to be obtained. Well, those months, May, April, October, maybe a little bit of late September. Those are when we really have opportunity to dedicate the theater to our city, to the people sitting behind me, and support them in their organizations and their fundraisers, and be the venue for their fundraising efforts, such as Nashville Nights for the Friendship House, or Hollywood Revisited for Rotary, or perhaps even the Solvang's highly successful Haunted House. We're very proud of the 3 weeks that we dedicate to the city of Solvang to set up and operate the Haunted House. Thank you very much on behalf of the Board of Directors for your consideration of our grant. Our theater is a wonderful, wonderful resource of Solvang. And when we look at Solvang being such a wonderful, unique, culturally and historically oriented town, when we look at the wonderful people of our community that get to participate in it and benefit from it, and when we look at how many people from outside come to our city to enjoy what's available at the theater, I think those are the three things that comes to my mind when I think, what is Solvang? I would happily answer any of your questions.
Questions? Thank you, Chris, very
Thank
well.
you very much.
United Way of Santa Barbara County.
Good evening, Mayor Richardson and members of the council. Is that my time? I'm done. Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry.
I want to say thank you, first of all, for, my name is Steve Ortiz, President and CEO of United Way of Santa Barbara County. Katie Higgins with me, she'll speak in a bit. I want to say thank you, first of all, for the generous grant that you gave us last year to support the Fun in the Sun program in San Ynez. This year, we're respectfully requesting $6,000 towards the program that takes place here in San Ynez Valley. Fun in the Sun is a national award-winning education program. The Fun in the Sun provides a comprehensive network of services for youth from low grades all the way to high school. And it's really about bringing kids who are low resource together to improve their education. And we do that through a variety of both community excursions so they could learn how to swim, learn about their community, and also STEAM activities, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. San Ynez Valley, the site is located currently in San Ynez Elementary. But this year, currently, the program is running. 50% of the students are from Solvang City. And we saw an increase of 60% compared to 2017 in the number of kids from Solvang who have applied and the families. Because of this, we have already started an agreement and actually closed the agreement last week to move the program to San Ynez, to Solvang starting next year. So the program will be relocated to Solvang Elementary School in 2019. So again, just thank you for your time and for your consideration. The dollars you give for this program really go to impact many lives. It's not only the students, we have about 300 students countywide in 5 different sites, but also the parents go through a parent track, and that's about 200 plus parents who also participate.
We just wanted to share a success story from one of our Solvang families. The mother, Isabel, wrote to us, "My children, Emiliano and Amy, were part of the Fun in the Sun program, and the staff and program helped them a lot. My husband and I were impressed by how well the program supported our children in education and exploration. My children loved the Lexia reading program, the trips to Santa Barbara, and they loved playing with children from both their school and from other different schools. We are very grateful for Fun in the Sun. It is a program that supports so much of their development. Thank you to the City of Solvang for making this possible for Emiliano and Amy."
Are there any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Valley Wind Ensemble.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, I'm Dave Lawrence, president of the Valley Wind Ensemble. On behalf of the ensemble, I am here to speak in favor of our original request of $1,000 from the city's grants budget. Yes, I have the dubious honor tonight of pitching the smallest request represented in the room. As you know, the ensemble gives local amateur musicians of all ages an opportunity to play in public and provide instrumental music for the community to enjoy throughout the year. Bach, Beatles, Broadway, we play it all. In addition to our formal fall and spring concerts, we enhance public observances, including Memorial Day, the 4th of July pre-parade gazebo concert, and Solvang's widely anticipated Yule Fest in December. VFW Post Commander Al Salja recently emailed me to say, quote, "The ensemble's participation adds so much to Memorial Day, making it memorable and heartfelt for the community to honor veterans. Please laud all the band members and thank them for their outstanding performance," end quote. You may recall, recently we performed for the Prince Consort of Denmark during the city's centennial. You may not know that Atterdag Village residents enjoy our holiday and Independence Day music right on their own campus. Local residents and visitors alike have enjoyed our free performances for over 25 years. Our revenues come from member dues, individual gifts, occasional grants, and the city's own generosity. We have no executive director. Our volunteer board of directors does all the organizational work. Expenses include a modest stipend for our conductor, high school band room rental space, and the acquisition of music. Our original request of that famous $1,000 would offset some of those expenses. It amounts to less than 0.6% of the attachment D total that nonprofits received, and less than 0.4% of the original grants allotment of nearly $255,000. As you can imagine, the staff recommendation to cut our already modest request in half makes little sense to us and yields nearly invisible savings to city coffers. When I did the math this afternoon and wrote out these remarks, I thought, goodness, we should have asked for $2,000. As a former city council member elsewhere, I can really appreciate the work you all do, and especially during the budget process. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions? Thank you, Dave. Wilding Museum.
Good evening. I'm Stacy Adi Demangate, the Executive Director, and thank you so much for all the prior grants that we've received from the city over the last several years now that we are here in Solvang. I do want to kind of emphasize the particularly local things that we do, since obviously that's of a priority. Past grants have supported our Good Old Classroom exhibitions, which have been staffed or had artwork by Solvang Senior Center, Friendship House, Solvang School, San Ynez Valley High School, Atterdag. We really reach out to specifically local groups to invite them in to participate in having art hosted at the museum, which is great for their own sense of self-worth to have their work out there, and all of our visitors actually really enjoy that. Last year's grant also helped our River's Journey exhibition, which is all about our own local watershed and river, the San Ynez River, with a strong conservation message. And we've really enjoyed being able to tour school groups, other kinds of groups, and have just all kinds of visitors in there marvel in the beauty of our landscape, but also the importance of our very only watershed that we rely on for our water, that the entire county does. Our mission, of course, is to use art to inspire people to care about nature. It's kind of a unique one, but we also very much feel that it's important to offer local art opportunities for local residents, which we're doing more and more every year. We have classes with basketry, gouache, pastel, watercolor, you name it, and the classes are selling out. We're having local people participate in it. There's I think we're an important resource for that. And we're an important resource for local artists to be able to have their work out there, to sell it, participate in things like our featured local artist program. We have all kinds of other programs that we offer that local residents participate in: film screenings, artist and author talks, free school tours, which I want to talk more about. And we just really participate in the entire community. I was very involved in the Solvang Chamber. We are always involved in things like Taste of Solvang, Solvang Third Wednesday, the Christmas Parade. We're here to be part of the entire community and support the entire community as it supports us. I did request a little bit more with this grant request than I have in years prior. And I think the most important piece of that, if we can hopefully get something this year, would be to help us help get to more of the school children locally. We need printed materials. We need to be able to print printed materials and get them in the hands of local school teachers and administrators. We want more school classes in, whether it's Solvang schools, charters, the high school, et cetera. We are developing some good relationships with some of the local school teachers, but they need something in front of them to remind themselves of us and what we can offer them. All of our school tours and classes that we offer are completely free to the school. Also, I did include in the original grant request some money to also support our fall exhibition, which is a collaboration with the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum. And that's just to my point of, we do a lot of collaborations with Santa Barbara institutions to cross-promote, to get those folks aware of us and bring them up to Solvang. And just as PCPA and other cultural institutions have said, if a museum visitor comes, they don't only spend dollars at your museum, they go to your entire community. They're buying, wine tastings and pastries and able skivers and other things throughout the entire community. So we really hope that you'll see that an investment in us is an investment in the entire community. So thank you. And
as a member of the Wildling Museum and a community leader, I ask you to explore Solvang's diverse culture in our museums and make sure that we do fund and support all of our museums, and they are our summer of fun and culture for the summer. So I ask you to please support all of our museums and support the Wildling Museum with some funding this year.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Stacy.
Okay, thank you.
The Zaka Center Preschool?
Hello, my name is Shelley Grand, and I'm the director of Zaka Center Preschool. And this is Joyce Stone, and she's one of our school board members, and she's also the coordinator for the Santa Barbara County Child Care Planning Council. And as you know, Zaka Center Preschool was operated for the last 22 years by the Santa Barbara County Education Office. They came to us about a year and a half ago, told us they would no longer fund the program. So we started a nonprofit organization to take over the operation of the program. And as of January 1st of this year, we have successfully taken over the program from them. And we do appreciate the support that you gave us last year and being able to continue these efforts. Zaka Center Preschool is an inclusion preschool, which means we support all children. Children with special needs are included in our classrooms daily. We're an outdoor classroom which means that the children spend the majority of the day outdoors, exploring and experimenting with the environment. We prepare all of our meals, cooked from scratch meals, on site. And we have a rich curriculum full of art, music, literacy, math, and we get children prepared for school.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff. As Shelley mentioned, my name is Joyce Stone. I am a member of the Board of Directors for Zaka Center Preschool, and I am the coordinator for the Child Care Planning Council of Santa Barbara County. But I'm also a Solvang resident, and I wanted to, again, thank you for last year's grant, which has really helped keep the center going. It's a invaluable service to parents. About 25% of the families served at Zaka are residents of Solvang, so 15 families rely on that care. The parents need that care to be able to go to work. which of course is necessary to support the economic base of our city. And the children need high-quality early care and education to prepare them for school, to prepare them to be successful in our global economy. So we can't stress enough, being the last presentation here, an organization starting with the letter Z, we've been able to hear all of the worthy causes that are looking for your support, and recognize that it's not an easy thing to do to make these decisions. However, children are our most valuable investment. They're our most important resource. They are going to be the future, taking care of all the seniors we've been hearing about this evening. So most economists will say that $1 invested in early care and education yields $7 to the benefit of our communities. So thank you very much for reconsidering our request of $5,000.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions? Now, that's all the organizations that have spoken that made grant requests. However, there may be some speaker slips in here for those that wanted to talk about these grant requests. Is there anyone else that wishes to comment on these particular items? Good. I say good. I say because it's break time. Some of us are really short of time here, so we'd like to take about. We'll be back at 35 after, just about 8 minutes. We're called the meeting back to order. I want to thank you all, the public, for your attentiveness and your quiet and your contemplate and the plus the presentations. You know, I wish we could give you every dime you ask for and more. You know, it's tough stuff. You all have great nonprofits that are doing wonderful things for the city and the valley, and I'm just proud to know so many of you and to be a part of so many of that. And I just wish I could grant you every dime you request, but we're hamstrung in a lot of areas. So we're going to go on and talk about the Theater Fest right now. It's allocation. Ryan has to recuse himself for it. That's why we'll just do that one separately, and then we'll go on to the rest of them. So, glasses. There we are. So does the council want to change any of the allocation to the Solvang Theater Fest? The request was for $35,000, and we're giving them $30,000. Is that your wish?
In light of the fact that we've decided that we're only going to be doing the 3% number, I feel that the $30,000 at this point in time is appropriate.
Okay. Anything else? Well, can
I got a question on the 3%. So what was the decision we made on this 3%?
That we have to work with.
I put it up on the board. It's $254,500.
Okay.
But remember, minus the money from the chamber.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
we can't-
contract.
That's the contract, a separate, be a
contract,
separate
that's
line item
separate.
in
That
the
would
budget.
change our whole amount then.
Actually, there's the 85,000 that is not allocated that was requested originally by the chamber last year.
So
that's-
the ad hoc subcommittee utilized the 3%, including the chamber's funding. So,
But then we asked to have that pulled out.
right, we've separated that from that, and then the ad hoc committee retained that funding that they had less the 85. They didn't.
Right.
They didn't make a recommendation to bump
When
it up
did-
to the
when
total
did they do
3%
this?
as a subcommittee
When did they do it?
after the last budget workshop. So, so yeah, as I said, you can, if your target is 3% of last year's revenue, you would still have that 85,000 to distribute.
Yes.
But it does increase your budget by 85,000. That's. We just want you to know that's the result of that.
Okay, so can I have a motion accepting the Theater Fest contribution of $30,000?
Also move.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passed 4-0, one abstention. Would you ask Ryan to come in, please? He had to recuse himself from this particular item. Now, I'm going to ask if you're satisfied with the grant allocations that the ad hoc committee has come up with. I'd like to hear a motion accepting those. If there's any changes you want to make to any of those allocations, let's discuss it. We can start from the top of the page or wherever you'd like to start. If you're happy with what the allocations we've recommended are, then we can vote on it. If not, if you want to make any changes, let us know.
I have a question about Danish Days actually not being a part of this list anymore. They're in tourism, so I would like to subtract that amount.
Say that again?
Danish Days is found in tourism now. They're not a part of the so-called grant process.
Well, just to clarify, that's where we show them in the budget, is in the
Right.
tourism category, but they have been a part of this process, at
Right.
least in the 5 years, 6 years.
Well, a lot
they've
of
been here.
people didn't know that.
But they've made a request every year.
It's every year been in here, yeah.
Pardon me?
It's been under this request every year.
Mm,
This is nothing new.
okay.
Any other items that you'd like to adjust?
I have a list of items I'd like to adjust because I am a big supporter of the arts and culture. So would you like me to start from the top or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. Well, actually, we're going to add on one thing aside from the art and culture. We'll do the Adderdag at Home Meals on Wheels. I'm not quite sure that Chris had an opportunity to fully go into detail as to how important this is for our seniors. And we have actually, I see on here, approved substantial amounts of money for the benefit of our senior citizens. So I would suggest that we give the Adderdag at Home $2,000 towards our Meals on Wheels program.
Any comments?
I can support that.
I'd support it too.
I'm sorry?
I would support it
You
too.
support that change? Okay. That leaves 83 in that other bucket. Huh?
Okay, then the next item that I would like to discuss is the San Ynez Valley Historical Museum, which, although it is located in San Ynez, is absolutely 100% related to Solvang. I would go with the full $5,000 for the San Ynez Valley Historic Museum.
You know, I'd like to drop that back to the end of the list. For one main reason is that it's not 100% located in Solvang, so I think we ought to hold to that. So let's put it at the end of the list as far as allocations are concerned, and we'll come back and visit that again.
Okay, then we'll drop down to the San Ynez Valley Master Chorale, and I don't want the council to be thrown off just because the names might be San Ynez Valley, because some of these organizations are very involved in Solvang. San Ynez Valley Master Chorale, they're asking for $3,500. I would go ahead and give them 1 to 2. I don't know where I would come in, but I certainly would give them something, and I had written down 2 on this.
Oh, there it is. You're suggesting how much?
2,000.
Comments?
I would agree.
Yep.
2,000. Master Chorale. Another?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on the arts again and go down to Valley Wind Ensemble. He's probably correct. He should have asked for 2, but I would like to give Valley Wind Ensemble 1,000.
I agree with that one.
Me too.
We can give them more. But we'll go with the 1. And then the Wilding Museum. I would be in support of giving them the full $5,000 that they've asked for.
I'd agree with that too. Let me give you a little bit of history about all the museums in the valley. I'm responsible for showing a lot of foreign visitors around, and I take them to all the museums in the valley. They come to Solvang, but because these museums might be other places, that's okay. They love it. They like to see the Mexican and the Spanish culture. They go out to the tribe and see the beginnings of the people that lived here. They go, the wildling they love, and of course the shining star is the Elverhoy. But that's because we are a Danish community. But I do not think we should belittle the other museums that are in our area. They serve a good purpose.
5,000?
Yes.
Okay. I still have a couple more arts here.
Sorry? Yeah. Mhm.
All right, so we're all aware of the fact that many of our schools' music and arts programs have been cut. So I would like to touch on the Solvang School Education Foundation, SAM. Originally asking for 6. We were going to go with 5. I would like to give them something. So I would actually Well, I was going to ask for the full 6 on that. I was. Just because I know for a fact that the schools have been cut. They don't consider these programs important anymore, and they're very important, especially at that age, to get people involved and interested.
Comments?
I agree.
Anything else?
Did we get a majority on the 6 for Sam?
Yeah. Bump that up to 6 from 5. 4.
Let's see. So,
Solvang School Foundation, bump that to 6. That's plus another 1,000.
yeah. Okay. So, and then we'll go back to our seniors here. San Ynez Valley Senior Citizens Foundation. Builton Senior Center runs a wonderful organization. I've been out there. I've seen it. I really wasn't aware of their efforts in transporting seniors to doctor's appointments, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And I know that they've asked for 10. I would ask for 10, but I don't know. I'm not on the committee, so I don't know what anyone else has to say yet for other items. So I'm going to start with giving the seniors 10. We've given them nothing, and I don't think that's acceptable.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing is, that's not acceptable. So we can either come back to it or stick with the 10 for now and then come back to it, or I don't know, whatever the suggestions are.
I think just make your suggestions and then we'll come back to it as a whole.
Okay, so as of right now, we're coming back to the San Ynez Valley Museum, and I guess the question on the 10,000, is it justifiable, and that amount is all? Is it? I'm not. I don't know. It's just a question.
I can't understand.
You want to know
I can't
if you
understand.
The 10,000 is it? Because it's a new thing, and I get we don't want to. Well, I didn't look at the application, I guess is the point. Is the $10,000 justifiable as far as the need for that amount of money? Do we know or not know?
So,
I think, for example, are you trying to relate
Because
Atterdag at home 2,000 versus?
Well, I'm looking at the recommendation of 0. They asked for 10. The recommendation is 0, and then I want to give them something. But is 10,000 too much? Is it justifiable, or what was the reasoning for 0? And what's the 10,000 for?
it's an initial request of 10,000. I think it should be less than 10.
7,500.
I heard 7,500.
I'll go with 7,500.
Okay.
75. Okay. What's our balance toward the 85 now?
Sorry, out of the 254.5, you have 201,000 left.
Okay. Well, let's go back. Are you through with your request?
I'm through with my requests.
Okay, let's go back to the San Ynez Valley Museum.
Well, I'll still stick with my full 5,000 that they've asked for.
I will too. That's a jewel.
You know, I'd be darned if I can find it.
It's right in the middle.
They're the biggest carriage collection west of the Mississippi.
It's
For
a-
tourists to come and enjoy.
It's a beautiful place. Oh, there it is. So you want to go the full 5K?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I want to make sure that the kids' little league, the baseball, they get their money, the $4,000 they requested.
Baseball league, you want to go with the full $4,000?
Yeah, I would like to. That, and then I'd like to give something United Way as well. United Way. And maybe half of what they requested.
$4,000 for the $4,000 for the baseball?
Well,
Sure. And you have to understand, it's not just boys.
They
Girls
came up
get to
here.
play
They came up
too.
here and introduced themselves, you know, for a reason.
So is
They really
that
are cute.
consensus for the baseball?
You want to do the $4,000 for the baseball?
I'll go with the $4,000 for the baseball.
I'm interested in the nature track. Doing something for them. It sounds like a great program. We went for the music at the elementary school. The nature track, if it's dedicated to the Solvang Elementary School, that's that $3,500 would be okay with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how much for the nature track?
$3,500. Give them their request.
I saw 2 nods. Do we get a third nod on 3,500 for nature track? Okay.
Bobbleheads. Can we start at the top and go through what we have done?
Sure. I have.
So-
How much?
So far, it looks
I
like
do.
that's raising it by 36,000. If
So right now you have 188,500 left. You've given out $2,000 to Outerdag at Home, 3,500 to Nature Track, 4,000 to the San Ynez Valley Boys Baseball League, 5,000 to the Historical Museum, 2,000 to the San Ynez Valley Master Chorale, $7,500 to the San Ynez Valley Senior Citizens Foundation, 6,000 to the Solvang School Education Foundation, 30,000 to Solvang Theater Fest, 1,000 to the Valley Wind Ensemble, and 5,000 to the Wilding Museum. So you've given out right now $66,000, and your remaining amount is $188,500.
One other would be, I want to give the full request for the Elveroy. We've been consistent at 30,000 a year. They haven't gone up or down with it, and to me that seems like it's a fixed number that they depend on, and I want to make sure that they get it. It's $2,000, and it's not.
No, who is that?
Elverhoy.
Elveroy.
yeah, I can support that.
The Elverhoy?
Mm-hmm.
We have a consensus on that.
Yes, okay.
I think I'd like to go back to the Azaka Center Preschool. How much have we got left?
$158,500.
How much we've used, how much have we got left?
No, that's how much you have left, $158,500.
Well, that's
of-
based on what now?
the
Out of the
85,000?
254,500, that was your 3% cap.
Oh, got it. Okay.
You've got 158,500 left.
But some of these were granted, and I think we agree with some of them.
Right.
So we need to go, that's why I wanted her to go through them item by item, because there are some things down here that we haven't talked about yet, that we said that we were going to give money to,
All right.
like the Rotary Club. Nobody's brought them up.
Well, if we have $150,000, looks like we're going to be under that budget, and we can just give everybody all the requests, full amount, across the board, right? Or am I looking at that wrong?
No, I haven't moved the ones that were recommended by the Finance Subcommittee, because you guys kind of are just starting fresh.
Right.
That's why we can go through each one and say yay or nay to
That's
the
what-
recommendation, or kind of the way you've been going, everybody's kind of
That's
talking
what
about
that's
them.
why I asked, was there any changes to, any adjustments to the ones that,
So I think we need to go through those.
okay,
Okay, so start at the top.
okay. And so we did. Atterdag, Danish Days.
No, we haven't decided on Danish Days yet.
No,
Yeah,
Da-
we're
that's
putting-
that's where I'm next. Danish Days.
Sandra, can you give me the in our budget, what do we actually have for Danish Days?
In 17-18, we had given them $20,000.
But the budget you have before you tonight has 25,000. It's in the tourism section of our budget.
Okay, so within, because I don't have that, I'm not.
Are you asking for what they requested?
I see what they requested, but I'm just saying, when we budget for tourism, do you know how much of that we actually put towards Danish Days?
It has its own line item.
It's
of
it's
expense.
this request.
And how much is that usually?
It was 27.5 in 16-17. It was 20,000 in 17-18, and it's budgeted for 25,000 this year.
Oh, okay, because Councilwoman Jameson made it seem as though we had not only a budget item for it, but we were also giving them funds towards it.
No, it's just where we place it within the budget. They've always participated in the grant process, but we budget them. Once they get their allocation, we put it under tourism, under the
Okay.
tourism budget sequence.
Just
number.
the expense account.
That's just a,
And then how much do they usually spend?
They request what we budget. That's what they request from us.
But in reality, like what do we know what their actual expense is for putting this event on? I have my.
I think they've left, but it would be in their, I think Sandra's looking it up.
Oh, well, I've got this too.
So for 18-19, the Danish Days Foundation budgeted $107,500. And from that, the budget they've requested from us was $30,000. And their expense budget, so their annual revenue budget is 107.5, and their expense budget is 108,360. So that includes $25,000 from the city.
And just, in the past, historically, have they been pretty accurate about what they've requested from us?
they've been pretty accurate about their requests. They don't try to bump it up to get a little more.
Okay,
They
thank
put-
you,
they-
Jim. That's where I was.
They
I
have
was
a
going
lot of
with that.
credibility, is what I'm trying to say, on their requests.
What are we doing with Danish Days?
So we're talking about Danish Days, whether it should stay at 25?
Okay. And what has everybody else said?
25? 25?
Well,
Going once, going twice?
No, because I wanted to know how accurate they were in their request, if they actually.
Well, I think what might help is so that when they get a budget from the council at this meeting, they turn around on July 1 and send me an invoice, and we give them the money. So they come and they're supposed to provide a report, 6 months within the end of their fiscal year that kind of describes how they've spent their money, and they also include their financials in the packet. Does that kind of help answer
It
the
helps a
question?
lot. I mean, this is a big event for us. This is Danish Town.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, they typically, if they don't need it, they don't ask. So they were at 27.5. That particular year, they bought new grills, new stove, and so that was a higher capital, one-time capital. The next year, they only asked for 20,000. So they're pretty realistic in what they need to complete their budget.
They're Danish. I did.
Okay, well, I'm Irish, but I want to give them the full 30.
Do we have
Are
any
you recommending the
other?
30?
I am. I think it's one of our most important events. So
How's the rest of council feel? All right, up to 30?
get a consensus on that.
Okay. The Elverhoy, we already talked about them. Nature Track Foundation, we've already talked about them. PCPA, requested 10, we're offering 2,500.
I kind of think that that's okay.
you think that's okay?
I think that's okay.
I think it's all right,
I
too.
think we give a lot to Theater Fest, and that's our home theater.
Okay.
And I know that I'll probably get tarred and feather for that. I used to be on the, oh, anyway.
Rotary Club.
Okay, wait.
So that
Just to
was
make
two
sure.
no's, or two to stay at 2,500.
Yeah.
Did we get?
Yes.
I'll do a
Who's
third.
looking for a third?
We'll stay at 25, stay at 2,500. I'm the third
Okay,
on that.
So we now have 3.
Rotary Club. Requested 25, we're offering 10.
I'm going to go with the full 10 because he just came out and said he'd be really happy with just getting the 10.
Yep. Don't.
He didn't mean it.
Don't do that next year.
Let's hang on that one, on 10.
Okay, well, we're going to reconsider that, or we're going to keep that?
Keep that at 10.
Well, I just think it's funny that one guy in the room that's willing to say he'll make it work, we end up or increasing everyone else.
Senior Advisory Council, Senior Center, they're asking 55, we're giving 45.
I feel okay with that.
You okay with that?
Mhm.
Okay with that? The Botanic Garden. Purely a Buellton organization, although they do support it.
The
They
kids
didn't
go.
show up, did they? The Botanic
No, they
Garden?
didn't show up.
They did
Oh,
not.
So that nixes them.
Okay. We took care of the boys baseball league. The Valley Historical Museum, we've taken care of that one. The Valley Master Corral, we've taken care of that one.
I don't think you discussed Veggie Rescue. Oh, that's next. Okay, sorry.
2K, right. Veggie Rescue, they're asking 75, we're giving 65. Now, I know how the Veggie Rescue is, and they're a great organization. They've supplied the refrigerators and freezers for the senior centers to store that stuff even. So I'd be willing to give them the full 75.
I'll go with you. I'm getting there.
Are we still in our range? What do you think?
I would go with the 6,500 that was your original decision.
Okay, we've got two choices so far.
So I'll be the third for yes. We can go with the 75.
You'd be willing to go to the 75?
Mhm.
You'd be willing to go to the 75?
Okay.
Come on, Karen, say yes. 75?
I thought you had 3.
Oh, we're at 3.
Yeah,
We
we
got a majority, but yeah,
yeah.
just trying to give you the opportunity to say, to say yes.
Come on, Karen. We can say okay.
Well, you can do it. Okay, 75 for the Veggie Rescue. How is our totals looking?
You have 63,500 left.
People Helping People, request was 22, we're giving 17. They moved out of town.
Just the store, just the store.
Yes, sir.
Someone steal our building? We got kicked out of the thrift store. You
Yeah, we got, thrift store got kicked out of the thrift store.
building is still
Yeah.
sold.
I would take the committee's recommendation for 17,000. I am aware that they get substantial funding from other sources, although they do a wonderful job for this community.
Opinion?
No, that's fine.
Fine. 17? 17 it is. Sorry, Dean. Senior Citizens Foundation, we took care of that one. Therapeutic Writing Program,
I'd like to give
we
them
have
something.
$7,500 request.
I'd like to give them something, because that's a great program. It just opens up children that,
Shall we do $5,000 then? Would that be a fair number? We got enough room for that?
Yeah, I'd support the 5,000.
Say
Yeah,
five
support it.
grand?
I'd support it.
Yeah, I'll support that.
Okay.
They also do vet, so, just so you know.
Pardon me?
They also do vets.
Veterans.
Oh, I know, veterans. Yes, yes.
Side children.
Let's see, we got the chamber and the library. Should we discuss the library now? Do you want to hold that separately?
Yeah, the library was not part of this. Remember, that's kind of dictated by what the...
Okay, so we'll bypass that.
Yeah.
Education program, we did Theater Fest. They were asking 35. We offered 30. Is that satisfactory?
I had to recuse myself from that. So
Yeah, I
We
think
already
final-
made the decision. That was the
We
first
already made the
decision.
decision on that.
Yeah.
That's right. United Way of Santa Barbara County, they're asking 6.
I think Councilmember Zimmerman put out 3,000 for
Did
that.
you say 2?
I said 3, yeah. 50% of what they requested.
And so you're going with 50% of what they requested because?
Because they deserve something. Other than that, it'd be the full amount. I'm
Okay.
trying to meet you guys in the middle. There's 0 there, so.
Right. Okay. So I would go, I mean, I know that when we originally started this process, the committee was tasked with finding organizations that were very specific to the Solvang area. I also do know that the United Way gets tremendous amount of funding from other sources, so I'm not completely convinced that they need money from Solvang, but I feel that since they run their summer fun program and now it's going to be 2019 at Solvang School, we probably should give them something. I just don't know how much. So somebody else come in on Neil's suggestion, please.
Neil recommended 2?
3.
3? Oh, 3. 3?
Okay.
3? 3 it is. The Valley Wind, we took care of the Valley Wind Ensemble. Wiley Museum, we took care of that. The Zaka Center Preschool, we didn't come up with a number for them, did we?
No, that's the last one.
How much have we got left?
38,500.
Should we, should we give them the full 5 they requested?
Yep. Yeah.
You think?
Okay.
5? 5, 5? Okay. That's the end of that. So if you all approve of those changes we just made, can I have a motion?
I'd like to know what the total amount is, please.
221,000.
What was it last year?
330, 534, but that included the chamber.
What was last year's number for all these organizations? So like this year we're excluding.
115.
I need
Minus
to
a
get the
couple.
library. Last year, in the spreadsheet was the library. And I'll take out the chamber.
Maybe
It was
226.
189.
So we've increased by 32,000. Okay.
Is everybody satisfied with what we've done? If so, can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Zimmerman?
Yes.
Waite?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Toussaint?
Yes.
Mayor Richardson?
Yes, that passed with a 5-0. And thank you all. We really appreciated your. We really appreciate what you do for the community, and we appreciated your requests. Thank you again.
You still got the chamber.
We're still going to talk about a couple others. So, but if you want.
Back 30 grand somewhere.
Hey, take care, Joe.
Thank you.
The only person that walked out of here pissed.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Karen.
Jeff's getting killed. Jeff Little. You said it.
Hey, Tom and Joe.
Oh. Give us an opportunity to give more money to other places.
See you next year.
Let's take care of the Visitors Bureau. Their request was for $820,000, $850,000 with the $30,000 emergency allocation, and we're offering $766, which is what we're offering. Is the Visitors Bureau would like to come up and speak?
I figured since they've been sitting here for a couple hours, I'd get them to come join us. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, city staff, and members of the audience. I'm Tracy Farhad, Executive Director of the Solvang Conference and Visitors Bureau. And with me are several of our board of directors, our Vice President, Angie Horn, with Atterdag Inn, Laura Hanberg with Treats, and Art Sevtap of Sevtap Winery, and our honorary board member, Dr. Kenneth Harwood, is here in the audience as well. So we believe our record speaks for itself, and you've heard a lot of the numbers in previous presentations. So the board respectfully requests that you revisit the committee recommendation, and please consider granting the CVB the 820 as requested, along with that flexible reserve account, which is at your discretion of up to $30,000, and that's for future film opportunities. We know there's a lot of pay to play. We've reallocated funds for that, but we still need more on a faster basis to be able to move on behalf of the city. And we want to keep the momentum going because it's working. Laura, did you want to say before I finish a couple words?
I just wanted to say, you know, the SCVB works really hard, and Tracy does a fantastic job, and it really is a lot of work, and you just have to keep your face out there. You know, when people want to go on vacation, there's so many different places to choose from, and the old saying, out of sight, out of mind, is really true. That you just have to keep Solvang in people's faces because you forget, you know, you don't think about it, and we're just a small, quaint little town, and I know it seems like a lot of money. We're talking about it, and it is a lot of money, and we know it's a lot of money, but it's amazing when it comes to advertising how fast that goes, and it just, you know, we advertise all over the world, you know, all over, so we hit a lot of different areas. So we really appreciate your time, and we hope you will reconsider and give us more money.
So most importantly tonight, we actually want to thank you. We want to thank all of you and who's rest here. And not only has the City Council invested so strongly in the businesses here, the employees, the agencies, but the town itself has jumped in feet first and often. The CVB could not do what we do without the countless number of hospitality businesses that constantly go the extra mile. They host journalists, film crews, tour operators. They give up rooms, meals, tours, tickets, transportation, and wine. I have to say that, Fran, to promote Solvang. And so we want to thank them tonight. And our sister organizations, the Solvang Chamber of Commerce, doing a fantastic job, by the way, Tracy, and the library and the senior center and Danish Days Foundation, just to name a few, all are contributing to the fabric of success for the town and working seamlessly, extending their missions and supporting ours. So thank you, it's working. And in addition, and especially, I want to thank your city staff. Brad, Lisa, Sandra, Holly, Matt, Fred, we know them closely, we admire the work they do daily, and we work closely together so we can do what is best for everyone. So a very hearty thank you, because you make it easier. So we're very lucky to have such a very strong, dedicated team of like-minded souls in such a small community. So thank you for keeping the little engine that could moving along the tracks, and we're proud to be at your service. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Thanks very much, Tracy. Thanks, guys. What are you thinking? What are your comments? You want to adjust this? Leave it as is? How much have we got the balance that we were working with?
$33,500. That was from your 3% cap.
So if we were to throw in a little more just to make up for some cost of inflation, because tourism is what drives this town, and I was thinking or hoping to perhaps get it up more around the 780 range, somewhere in there.
Well, if we put the 32.5 in that, it would bring them up just above what their request was, the grant was for last year of 760. It would give it up to 762, roughly. Yeah, they asked for 820.
I'll just get out in front of it. I think the 730 or 760 is too much. So I'd like to say we either stick to recommendation or we drop it down 20% or something.
What was your number?
20%, so that'd drop it down to about 600 or 625.
Well, I guess the recommendation is 766. And so you're saying to drop it down below the 766? Because I think we kind of agreed in the meeting that we thought the additional $30,000 was very important for kind of as a reserve in case there was, on the spot advertising that might need to be done.
That 30,000 has to get an okay from Brad before it's spent, so they have to come before Brad to get the money. So. I'm not hearing any discussions. Am I to take that you're satisfied with the 736?
I think it would be total 766 with the 30.
Yeah, that's the 760. I'm looking at I'm assuming the 30 is going to go. Whatever we do, So I was looking at the top line of their base request, and if we've got 32.5 left over from our prior wheeling and dealing, we can if we put that in it, that would bring them up to 738. 768, which is $8,000 above their 2018 request, 2017-18 request.
I think we need to consider what they bring into this community, the funds that they bring into this community.
You guys are putting us right on the spot. We want to do good by you,
Well, it's the TOT that comes in, and our occupancy rate has been pretty consistent for year after year. And the increased revenue is based on what the residents voted in, based on our promise to give them back something from that tax. So we're giving them 3%, and occupancy ratings pretty well fixed. I mean, slight fluctuation, but not much. But the increase in the tax and Measure Z or whatever it was is where the value comes in and the revenue comes in. So it's we have to take that into consideration. The gap between our word on what we gave the public and the constant increase of advertising and stuff that may or may not matter. It's a fine line, I think.
Okay, so go over on, again, exactly what we represented to the public.
That we would give back to them through this tax increase. And if I were voting for that, I would look at it as, what's the 2% that was the increase, which is maybe $1 million plus. And we're giving 160 grand, chiseling away at $500 a person.
I think the 2% increase represents around 700,000. Is that based on what our current TOT levels are? Okay. So, and I think
700,000, not $1 million. So, no. And we're giving them 150 or 200 grand.
I think you're just trying to point out the largest increase in TOT is the 2% increase from 10 to 12, right?
Right, but also they're thinking they're going to get that money back to some degree, and I don't know, 3% of all revenue seems like it's low, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, so
When we're
3%
giving
is around
20%
$250,000, right?
For marketing.
For what we have up here, the 3%. What was that? What number is that?
It was 254.5.
Okay, so around $250,000, and then we've also we're making contributions to the Water Enterprise Fund for capital improvements to help stabilize water rates, right?
Correct. You're giving about $405,000 from the general fund to the water fund in 1819.
Okay.
And you still have the chamber to fund. Or not.
I don't want to talk about that one because I had to recuse myself from that one.
Well, there's the chamber, and then there's the Visit SYV funds that we have our, we work with.
What is your number?
I don't know if I put a number out there.
I'm sorry?
I don't know if I put a number out there. Oh, you mean for my recommendation?
Yeah. You have a number?
I said 600 and some odd thousand, 620, 640,000. 640?
640 is your number?
That's what I would say, yeah.
Down from the 736?
Mm-hmm.
And the justification for that is?
At some point, we need to start reaping the benefits of that revenue and not go up as we earn more revenue from the tourists or the tax. We're just putting it right back into marketing. That how much more value are we actually getting out of that marketing? Probably none at this point, because of how established the city is, and they know where we are, and our occupancy rating kind of states what that is. It's consistent. We're talking a few percent here and there, but
is that the 20% of the TOT revenues? Is that what you're talking about? What is that number?
Did I say 20%?
We had talked about that at one time as a factor for the contribution back.
The difference in the 10 to 12 is what Councilmember
Sorry?
Toussaint was saying. The difference between 10% TOT and 12% was about 700,000.
But I think what Jim is now referring to is part of
20% of the
where this
TOT.
recommendation came from was a percent of the TOT.
Total of the total TOT.
A percent of the total TOT.
Dollars.
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
The total TOT is about 4 million, so 20% would be about 800,000.
That puts their 820 in the ballpark of that.
Which seems like a lot, right?
Yeah, it does.
But look what they do, how they get the people here. It's because of them that the people come. And we have TOTs and we have sales tax. And then it's up to Tracy Beard to make sure they spend money in our stores. through the chamber.
Well, I'm just looking at the imbalances. Kind of what I'm pointing out here is the imbalance of the residents, then keeping this or keeping it local or keeping it with the chamber. And it's just highly overweighted in one area. When you look at the Visit SYV and the funds they receive, plus the funds here, I mean, it's a significant amount of money for marketing. For something that's fully established and been here for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of what it is.
I'm going to throw a number out there and make a motion.
Mhm.
I'm moving that their base amount be $775,000 plus the $30,000, their emergency, for a total of $805,000. Can I have a second?
Okay, I'm going to second that because I'm not going to go lower than this 766. And I was actually pushing for more up around, 780. So
The motion is to give the Visitors Bureau $775,000 base plus the $30,000 emergency funding.
And what did they ask for?
Sorry?
What did they-
820
820.
is the base and the other 30 for a total of 850.
Oh, it's a total of 805.
She was asking me
Oh,
what they
Oh,
requested.
the request, oh, yeah, yeah, okay. So we'll make a vote. Please call the roll.
Mayor Richardson?
Yes?
Councilmember Waite?
Yes.
Jameson?
Come back to me, please.
Toussaint?
No.
Zimmerman?
No.
I'm afraid it's going to go the other way. I'm going to say yes.
All right. That motion passed with a vote of 3-2. Thank you very much. There you go. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is going to be discussion of the Solvang Chamber of Commerce contract. Both myself and Ryan will be recusing ourselves from this discussion, and Councilman Zimmerman will take over the chair.
No.
No, that'd be
I'm
Joni.
not- It's me. It's
Joni.
me.
She's Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Do you-
Can I just want to sit
Oh,
here.
hey, let me back that up. The Mayor Pro Tem should take over the chair.
We have some.
I was in another world. Sorry. Would you like to sit here? Would you like to?
No, I'll stay here. All my junk is here. May I have the gavel, though?
You want the base?
I'll just use the, yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I had my mind on that other project.
I know, the bike thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You threw out the high number, and I went for it.
Good evening, and thank you, council members. What a short, long evening. I come before you this evening to let you know the Solvang Chamber of Commerce has just delivered a 5,000-pound paper baby. I welcome our new 2018-19 Business Relocation Guide to the community. We have printed over 10,000 magazines for this community. We are the only Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center in Santa Barbara County that has printed locally with a local printer, maintaining economic growth in our Solvang community within photography, sales, written commentary. Our mission, local. 2017-18, our funding for the $85,000 stayed to the economic progress of the Solvang businesses and merchants. Local commercial, photographers, cameramen were all used on the project. All past commercials reaching over 1 million viewers up and down the Central Coast. Every sign we purchase is shopped local in this community. Our marketing materials, every single piece of $85,000 that you gave us stayed right in this community. Our new marketing for 2/18/19 is shop in the heart of Solvang, do business in the heart of Santa Barbara County, but most all, do it the Danish way and be Danish. And you have our marketing up there. Our Solvang Go Green campaign is to produce reusable bags. And they will look something like this, of this nature, with the local throughout the valley, and we will be just within the valley. Our job is to be green, and that is what we want for every one of our businesses. According to the Google Analytics that was conducted by Amerivant, the Solvang Chamber has the highest SEOs and the dominant comparisons with any chamber within Santa Barbara County. You have that in front of you. The Solvang Chamber gives the highest return on investment to the business community of any money that has been given out from last year. 100% of our money stayed. Every dollar we spent was spent right in this community back to local small businesses in the surrounding area. We must have an economic approach for both economic development and strategies for crucial long-term health and durability for the economy. Relying on one economic source creates risk and challenge to the future of this city. Our chamber has a three-pronged approach to economic development in this community: business attraction, business retention, strategies, maintaining the current business and infrastructure to conduct collaborative industry roundtable, pursuing local businesses and visitation. We do not want to be the next State Street. We want to stay economically healthy. We want to see our small health care, our clinics. We do not want to see these closing, nor privately owned print shops, nor retail merchants. We want business expansion. Bring more business to town. That is not necessarily tourism related, but household tax related to local business residents. We have a tax leakage problem still in this community, and it is up to us to close the gap. To keep every dollar of ours that is spent in Solvang, we need to slow down those Amazon users and attract our residents back to the heart of Solvang. Clear economic strategies and efforts are more important than any other community can ever imagine in our rural resort environment due to the unique economic challenges. A proactive approach in helping businesses, entrepreneurs to direct our community and keeping an exquisite city as our surroundings. Our goal is to advocate, educate employees, small business owners who are part of the magnificent jewel as we do work here in the heart of Solvang, within the heart of Santa Barbara County for our Chamber of Commerce. We need $250,000 to help a tenant mix consultant study. We are honored to be your partner at every time, and we truly need to have that funding. And that funding has gone a long way, and it's hard to be last on the list, but you know what? We want to help you, and we want to help this community. We have approached before you over 13 letters. We have another one that has come before as I was sitting there of support of every partnership that has been created to the city. And we want you to know that we have created partnerships up and down the coast through the Department of Commerce, the Department of Chamber, Small Business Economics. As you see there, two of our supervisors sent letters on our behalf. We need to have your funding for an economic growth, and we must think about the future of Solvang. Just so you know, as we support Danish Days, our t-shirts, everything we do that we help our community is done within this community to make tax dollars back. Yeah, we could do it a little bit cheaper, but remember, we're the only Visitors Bureau and the only Chamber of Commerce that has done this locally in a magazine. And you give money to everybody, but remember, your money is right back in this community. And you have a letter from Heather on what that does and how she can help every nonprofit when they need to make a decision. So thank you. Any
Thank you,
questions?
Tracy. Questions of Tracy?
Quick question is,
Yes.
on the study, what was that? What's the study?
We want to, excuse me, a tenant consultant.
Tenant mix consultant?
Yes. Can somebody go?
She want some water? She okay? Oh, let's give her some water.
Oh, okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. God, it's 9:35, boy. As you know, I am John Martino, and I've enjoyed living in Solvang for over 38 years. I come before you tonight as president of the Solvang Chamber of Commerce. As president, it is my honor to serve as a volunteer, and I have a board of 12 other volunteers who serve. We do this because we love Solvang and the people and the businesses who are here in our beautiful valley. We have watched the chamber bring diverse people and industries together and enjoy success in promoting employment, business growth, vital retail enterprises which attract 5,800 residents and 1.5 million tourists each year. What I'm most proud of is the people. The jobs we have helped to create and the family-run businesses that are a very important part of the fabric that makes up our beautiful little city. We are a special jewel, and the Solvang Chamber wants to help you as elected members of our City Council to polish and enable our community and our economy to shine like it has never done before. We are on a plan, and you have played an important role in creating our very special public partnership. Thank you for last year's grant. I appreciate that. As you probably know, 100% of last year's grant that you awarded the Solvang Chamber of Commerce was used to promote businesses right here, especially our special events focused on walk, shop, wine, and dine. We updated and designed a special walking map that's very user-friendly, that highlights Solvang business as a tourist-friendly city. Utilizing local business owners and volunteers, we updated and created a very special wine walk map. Our Third Wednesday program, which promotes Solvang retailers, wine tasting rooms, and restaurants, is successful more than ever. One more point I'd like to make for this contract request for the coming year. We do all this leveraging entrepreneurs, family businesses, and a very small staff at the Solvang Chamber of Commerce. Tracy Baird, our executive director, these past 3 years, has shown how she can reach out for matching grants, gifts, and collaboration from local businesses. You will not find anyone who can leverage private and public volunteers and contract money better than our Solvang Chamber of Commerce. I hope you will approve our request this year so that we continue to market and promote our unique Village of Lights. Our marketing plan was presented to you in our grant request. None of our programs duplicate with any of the work that the Solvang Conference and Visitors Bureau is doing. 100% of our received funds will be used to complete our marketing plan. Thank you very much for your support.
I'm going to back up here and see if anybody had any questions of Tracy. She was the applicant and the presenter.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't think so, but we might have questions for Tracy. Tracy, do you want to come up to the mic?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I had an asthma attack right after. Apologize.
Do either of you have any questions you would like to ask Tracy? Neil?
I think it was answered. It was the tenant mix on.
Yeah, and I have one of my board members that can talk about the tenant mix consultant study too, that are here.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind hearing. Yeah, something, yeah.
Hello, I'm Patty DeDominic, and I'm a volunteer, and I'm a member of Tracy's board at the Solvang Chamber of Commerce. As a matter of fact, 3 years ago, when she was interviewing for the job, I lived over the hill. And I said, if you get this job, I will help you, because that's what I do. I do strategic planning, and I help businesses grow, and I help organizations create worthwhile results. So she did ask me to speak about the tenant mix consultant, and we know that there are a lot of studies from organizations, communities that have hired tenant mix consultants so that the City of Solvang can be more proactive about strategically recruiting the type of industries and businesses that would be most beneficial. I don't want to talk specifically about a tenant mix consultant because we don't have somebody in our back pocket that we're going to hire yet. We do know Buellton hired one, and they put that money to good use. We'd look at that consultant. We'd look at other consultants to see. I really want to tell you about why I decided to move to Solvang. I moved to Solvang 2 years ago. My husband and I moved here. We love the multi-generational feeling of Solvang. We love the rural and the historic. We love the deer. You know, we're driving down the street, we see the deer. We see the turkey vultures flying in the sky and the hawks. But we also love the fact that this community is filled with small business owners. These are the people that drive the American economy. And we have family businesses and individuals and women-run businesses and all different types of diverse businesses that are employing people. And so that's what we want to do with the Chamber of Commerce. We want to strengthen the businesses. We want to strengthen the job-creating capacity of the businesses. I could go on, but I won't. I'll just say that the contract that the Chamber wants to do for the City of Solvang is probably pennies on the dollar of what it would cost the City of Solvang if you tried to do it yourself. But we can leverage the volunteers, the board, all of our members, and the employees that are part of the Chamber, as well as all the business owners in town. And that's what we want to do. As volunteers, we're committed to help making this a better place to live and a better place to do business. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Okay.
I signed up to speak.
Wait a minute, what's your name?
I'm David.
I haven't gotten to you yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait.
Okay. Gene Sensor?
Hi, I'm Gene Sensor. I'm this lovely lady who just spoke's husband. So this is a familial kind of a endorsement of the Chamber of Commerce. We think they do a hell of a job, and I think it behooves the board to support them in every which way they can. Thank you.
What about SCORE? Aren't you a volunteer for SCORE?
I'm a volunteer for SCORE, which is an organization of the small business department. As you can, I'm not a very good speaker, so let's admit to this. Anyway, in SCORE, we counsel businesses to get over the hump when they start the business, when they try to get from a smaller volume to larger volume. And we have a division here in Solvang. The chapter is actually in Santa Barbara, but there's several of us here in Solvang who work on behalf of SCORE, helping at no charge any business in Solvang to get over the hump, whatever that hump might be. Thank you.
Okay, David, your turn.
I got so excited. Hi, my name is David Brents, and I'm a small business owner. I employ 40 people in Solvang. My wife and I own Succulent Cafe. My wife is actually a volunteer for the board. She couldn't make it tonight, so I wanted to speak in her behalf. From my perspective, the Chamber has been a good investment for the community. They put resources into the programs, not just travel, not just hiring consultants, but actually into the programs themselves. One of the things that happened this past year, in December we had the fire, January we had the mudslides, really horrific impact on our businesses. The Chamber was very instrumental in getting resources for small business through FEMA, et cetera, so that we could go on about our business. In January, we lost $40,000, and we kept all of our staff. And so we needed to, work through that challenge, and them helping us with get resources is really wonderful for small business. We support the efforts of the Chamber, and from my perspective as a business person, as a CPA, as someone who ran the largest business in the valley for 8 years, running of Shumash, they've been good stewards with their investment. And so I just wanted to say we're on the small business side in full support of the chamber. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to make a comment? Sure. Come.
First of all, it's way past my bedtime.
Mine too. So introduce yourself, please.
I'm Liz McDermott, and I have a little business called Liz G Photography. And so I want to tell you about my experience with keeping it local and supporting small business. So I've been a professional photographer in Solvang since 2006, and I specialize in real estate and commercial photography. 2 years ago, when I added the latest, I have to read this, it's so late now, I'm sorry. But 2 years ago, when I added the latest in photographic technology, virtual reality tours, Tracy recognized the value of this engaging medium. These interactive tours allow a potential client or visitor anywhere in the world to experience Solvang in a way that is the next best thing to being here. Combined with my Google partnership as a Get Your Business Online ambassador, I help merchants harness the power of the internet to engage the public interest and bring more customers to their businesses. Last August, I was interviewed by Melissa Newman of KUIT and was able to share my enthusiasm for the local outreach grant that had just been awarded to the Solvang Chamber. As I said in the interview, we really don't need to leave town to shop, as Solvang has everything we need. We are residents with businesses that serve the visitors that come to town and the locals as well. Tracy, an ardent supporter of local business, was primed and ready to utilize the grant funds to their fullest potential, promoting Solvang to our nearby neighbors while contracting local service providers to make it happen. She said it, I'm saying it too. For example, my virtual reality tours. The Chamber hired me to provide virtual reality videos for the progress and roadmap report to the City Council in March, which I believe was on the screen, and a video for the 2018 Best of Business Awards ceremony. I met with her to plan and fine-tune the presentations, and she reiterated how intent she was about staying local and not outsourcing services. The Solvang Chamber of Commerce has truly engaged and relied on the local business community to promote Solvang, which in turn benefits the entire community because Solvang has something unique to offer our neighbors, both near and far. And so I want to say I'm in full support of any funding, additional funding that the Chamber can get, because I have watched her this last year especially just absolutely bust it wide open, you know, for support for this community and the businesses. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll bring it. Oh, we have another one.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Tricia Thompson, and I'll make this really quick. Solvang was the town I chose to live in, but I really had absolutely no connection to it until Tracy hired me to do the ad sales for her little 5,000-pound baby and do the ad sales for the business and relocation guide. It was a temporary position, but it was a game changer for me because the position allowed me to meet, mingle, and work with the local businesses in the community. And it is because of that that I still live here today, and I have that connection to the community. The Chamber is the only one out there working to bring businesses together to help each other. And really nobody on the planet cares about the small businessman. I have watched Tracy in action, and I can tell you she truly has the community's interests at heart. And our community is made up from hospitals, nonprofit churches, and schools, and it's all of us and all of those things that make our community the best. The Chamber thinks about the heart of the community. And in closing, I just want to say taxes, education, promotion are just a few of the many reasons we all need a well-founded Chamber of Commerce. So I have just one question to ask you. Why is the Chamber's funding even in question? Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, well, I'll bring it back to the council for comments. Action. What is the amount that they are requesting?
$250.
So, at first glance, I thought the 250 was a lot, and it is. But after hearing the support and what everyone said, I want to see what they can do. I want to see, let's continue on and see if we can further develop this relationship, and yeah, give them the full 250.
Karen?
I agree.
Okay, I want to tell you something about Tracy. As soon as the fire and the debris flow happened, she knew what to do. She knew how to help the people here in this community that were going to suffer because nobody could get up Highway 101. And Tracy Faja did the same thing. She gave them routes. Okay, this is how you get to Solvang now. It's an adventure, but you can still come. But Tracy helped our business community immensely. It was a shock to everybody. We didn't have to deal with the debris flow. We didn't have to deal with the fire, but we dealt with all of the angst and the aftermath of both of those two horrible incidents. And I agree, I would give Tracy $250,000. I shouldn't say Tracy, the chamber. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve 250,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah.
Say something?
Sure.
Thank you so much, and we will make that money work for our community, and we promise we will make it pay off. And I don't know how to thank you, because I wasn't expecting quite this much, so I sit back and I am so honored and so pleased and to be your partner, so thank you so much. And thank you on behalf of John Martino, our staff, some of our board, we had 4 board members that had to leave, so yes, we had more than quorum here. But we have an amazing president and staff here, so thank you so much. And we will work with Brad and with the city on this.
Thank you so much for your opportunity for all of us to come here tonight and tell you what the chamber does. We enjoy what we do, and we just think so much of this little community that we live in. It's so unique, and the genuine people that lived here, and I just enjoyed living here the last 38 years, and I continue to, just found out tonight that if you live here, you have 5 years longer lifespan. Did you hear with them talk about that?
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Chamber of Commerce.
Yes. Would somebody please go and get the mayor and the other council person? Thank you all for coming and hanging out. It's a long meeting.
You still have more business now?
A little bit. Oh, here. My portion was a lot shorter than yours.
Now that we're back, can we have the result of the?
The chamber was funded at $250,000.
And they're going to be they're on a contract with the city.
We'll be bringing back a contract, yes, but the funding was $250,000.
How much?
$250,000.
Okay. Yes. Anything else we should know?
You will need to adopt the budget resolution with those changes, so we still would need that action on the full budget that was presented to you.
So that's where we are now, adopting the budget. Okay. Do you want to make a brief statement, Sandra? You're the staff.
No, I think we have several changes to make, though. I want to make sure the council knows we'll adjust the budget to accommodate all of the agency requests that were identified tonight, the chamber amount, the special meeting bike spur trail amount will be included in all of that. And so with that, I think that's pretty much all of the major adjustments that I can think of, and including the MOU changes that were approved tonight. So all of that will be in the final budget.
Is there any questions of the staff so far? Then can we go to the public for comment before we take a vote on the budget? Does anybody have any comments? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council. Can I have a motion accepting the budget as presented?
I'll so move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Jameson,
Yes.
Waite,
Yes.
Toussaint,
No.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mayor Richardson.
Yes. Pass with a 3-2. Next item on the agenda is council member reports. Do we have any? Actually, I'm supposed to have a report for the SBK APCD meetings that were last week. I came unprepared, so I will give that report next meeting, besides it's too late to listen to it.
Okay, so when is our next meeting?
Monday at 4.
Okay.
Monday, July 2nd.
Monday,
Okay.
Every Monday so far.
Every Monday. Isn't there a song, isn't there a song Monday morning?
Okay, since there's no other council member reports, events calendar, anybody have any comments on that? Then we'll go into closed session, and please make that announcement.
Closed session item, Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with labor negotiators.
Yeah, thanks.
Did you eat them all?
No, we left some.